What is going on, everybody? It is episode 378 of Pop Culture Crisis. We're getting up there, very close to 400. My name is Brett. I have two guest hosts with me today. To my left.
Oh, yeah. That's
you.
That's my cue. Yo, what's up? Where's my camera? There we go. I'm sitting in a new spot. It's not my regular spot in the studio.
I moved you over. You're in the seat that Phil was occupying when Mary was gone last time.
Yeah, occupy Phil's seat.
Yep. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's actually a pretty good day. I don't really have. Yeah, my name is Kellen. I do the post production over at Timcast IRL. I don't really have much else to say. I kind of, days when I'm on the show is early for me. I only woke up a little bit ago, so I don't really know what's going on in the world yet. But I know you guys have all these articles pulled up for me, so I will learn very soon
as we go. And don't worry, Noah Sanders. We will get to your $20 super chat after we get through the introductions here. To my right. Introduce yourself.
I, on the other hand, have been up since 6 a.m. Got a good workout in this morning, as I usually do. I'm Carter Banks. I make music, and I do all the music for Timcast. And thanks for having me, Brett. It's good to be here.
Did you hear the superiority in his voice when he said, I've been up since 6 a.m.?
A little bit.
It's actually kind of a lie. I think I got up at 6:30 this morning.
Wow, what a woke time to wake up.
That's a very woke time.
He woke up.
Yep, that's what it is. So how you been? How's work been going over there, buddy?
Oh, man.
Busy?
A lot of stuff.
Like what?
Well, we got we have like 4 or 5 songs, 1 or 2 of which have guests. That'll be super cool. And then in parallel, I'm also doing just wrapping up something for Pop Culture Crisis.
Yes.
So that'll be cool. An ad and some other scoring.
All right. And we need a new special Crisis Party sound effect soon, ASAP.
ASAP is my timeline, so that's perfect.
Okay. All right. Before we get started, guys, could you like this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you very much. Remember, all super chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then we'll get right back on topic as fast as we can. Speaking of which, I will get into it right first. Here's what Noah Sanders said. He said, Idris would be cool to have, but that would solidify that Bond is a code name and not a character theory, and I don't know if I like that. I sort of like the idea that each 007 movie is supposed to be the same Bond in reality. Yeah, it's a weird kind of amalgamation of ideas where it's never really clarified whether it's the same Bond or whether it's a different Bond, but at the same time, most of them treat it as if that it holds over. Like, for instance, they had Judi Dench come back as M through multiple Bonds. So, like, what do you make of that? So, we'll see. We'll get into that topic. That's going to be the first thing we're going to discuss today.
You can do a Bond multiverse where they all show up.
The Bondiverse. I don't like it. I don't like it. We have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Speaking of which, that is number one. We are going to talk about this article where a television executive said that, in his opinion, he believes that there's no way that James Bond will be white in the next iteration, to which I just say, of course, whatever. We'll get into it. I tend to be on the fence on this issue, which kind of ends up pissing off both sides. Like, everyone gets mad. The people on the left will get mad for saying that you're not directly behind everything that they push, and then the people on the other side of the aisle will say, like, how dare you? They get mad. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the fact that Lizzo is threatening us with a good time. By that I mean she's threatening to retire because of all of the pushback and the fat-phobic comments that she's been getting. And I have a more measured take on this, I think, than depending on the day, I could go with this humorously or I could go with this more seriously. We'll see what it is when we get there. But she's saying that she's on some days, she just has the urge to just quit and go work on a farm. I don't know if she knows how much work it is to actually work on a farm.
I mean, it seems ridiculous.
Even if she was like 80 pounds, I'd say good for you. Like, I feel like that's anyone that goes and does that, they're only going to get something out of it. It's not really, I mean, people will probably be like, oh, hard work, it's a lot of labor involved, it must be a punishment. It's like, or it's like character building thing.
We'll get into it.
Good for you.
We'll talk about it. So also I have to talk about these. Taylor Swift fans are nuts. Like, she is ascending to a higher level of stardom, it seems. There's these multiple articles where fans are getting so excited to go to her concerts, they're getting amnesia when they're done, and people are showing up in diapers so that they don't have to miss a single second of the show. I really do think she's becoming some type of higher entity. It's crazy. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about influencers in the wild. Number one being, there is this lady who is a a ranching influencer. That is a thing. She's a ranching influencer, 1.6 million subscribers on TikTok, who lost her memory in an accident, in a horseback riding accident, and now can't remember why she's famous, which is really bonkers. So we're going to get into all that. If you guys are ready, we will get started. Kellen, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So let's get into the start of the show. I got some brief announcements to start things off. Number one being Oppenheimer is going to be rated R, which I just found out today. It does make sense, but I think it's Nolan's first R-rated movie in a very long time.
Interesting.
Since Insomnia in 2002. I mean, I don't know if this ends up limiting the box office or the potential of it to make as much money as Barbie that opening weekend.
Did they say why? Did they say, is it like nudity or?
It doesn't list here. It's just a tiny URL
I can't
article.
imagine, unless they're dropping a lot of F-bombs.
Probably.
I can't imagine like it's going to be, maybe they're really gruesome death scenes that are in the movie or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you ever seen that amazing meme? It says like, I can't stop laughing at the reason for Twister's PG-13 rating. It says like the reason Twister got a PG-13 rating. It says like terrifying examples of bad weather.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I saw that when I was like 5.
Yeah, that's what it listed as the
broke the
reason
law.
for it to be PG-13.
I remember like maybe a week or two ago, there was this viral clip going around Twitter and stuff. It's about this little kid at a baseball game. There's a dust devil, and everyone's like, "Oh, I just learned that there was a dust devil. Like they exist." I was thinking about that. I was like, I never saw one, but sure enough, today on the way to work,
Wasn't there one here?
I saw one on the way to work. Just a little dust devil.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like they're real tiny. I mean, it's probably just like the circumference of like a person.
But wasn't there like a big one in Maryland over the weekend?
I mean, I think big ones are called. I don't know when it stops being a dust
Tornadoes?
devil and starts being a tornado. Yeah.
Yep.
And then if
Well.
it's over water, it's a water spout, which we'll get those.
I didn't know that.
Maybe.
All right. Also, there is possibly some
Typhoon.
bad news coming for Deadpool 3. I know a lot of people are excited about that. I got a little bit of hate because I said I just don't know if they need to bring back Wolverine for that movie. Just because I thought they did such a good job of ending that series with Logan, you know. But apparently, due to the writer's strike, Ryan Reynolds will not be allowed to improvise on set. And if you know anything about Ryan Reynolds, he's like 80% improvise when he acts. He does a lot of improv. That's how he gets a lot of his best lines. Is he comes up, because he's a natural comedian, so he comes up with a lot of stuff in the moment. But they're saying the Writers Guild of America strike will make production process in Tinseltown more challenging, while films that can move forward are beginning production because they've already been written. Because he's a writer and a producer on the film, he's not allowed to improvise. If he was just an actor, he'd be allowed to improvise. But because he's a writer, he's not allowed to impose.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, well, all of the Writers Guild rules always seem kind of ridiculous and over the top to me.
I mean, it's just a great way to stifle creativity.
Yep.
Even if he didn't end up having too many improvised lines, like just knowing, like just going into every scene, knowing you can't tweak anything.
How can you act?
Yeah.
Like you can't put any.
A lot of
spin on
shows,
it?
especially comedy shows, which Deadpool, I mean, it's an action movie, but it's also a comedy movie.
Yeah.
A lot of those comedy shows, they work well together because there's a cast that's been together for years, and they're able just to gel off of each other, you know, and a lot of it ends up being improvised
What if
dialogue.
they wrote improv here into the script?
That'd be awesome.
Whatever
feels right in the moment.
Oddly enough, one of the other things I wanted to talk about is that there is a trailer coming out, or that came out for the show Justified City Primeval. I do recommend everybody go check that out. That's a show. The original Justified had a great deal of improvisation on it. Graham Yost, the guy who was the showrunner on that show, was very encouraging of the actors. Like if they wanted to try things that weren't inherently written in the script, they were allowed to do that, but it was a collaborative process.
That's cool.
If I was to give my opinion of this trailer, which I would encourage you to go watch and check it out for yourself, I would say meh. Taking Raylan Givens out of Harlan and putting him in Detroit, I get the concept on paper that you're taking the kind of cowboy-esque character and putting him in the city. I don't think it really works in this trailer. Like, it doesn't grip me in the same way that the show did. It doesn't have the same charm. But you should go check it out and see what you think of it for your own, make your own judgment on that. So I put that up there. Also, guys, there's this amazing tweet that I meant to show yesterday. It's from Gary at Nerdrotic posted. It's a picture of George R.R. Martin on the picket line. He says he's still on strike after 4,341 days because they're still waiting for Winds of Winter.
Dude, yeah, I remember people were saying this like 5 years ago. They think he's going to pass away and not be able to finish the series. And it's like, we're just getting closer to that day.
I think it's done, and he's waiting till he dies for it to come out.
You think it's already done?
That's my conspiracy theory, that he just doesn't want to deal with what people, he's been built up so much in people's minds.
Yeah, but if this is like your last hurrah, aren't you worried about people like, oh, you're dead now, so like we can just do whatever we want with it?
No, I'm sure there's always
maybe that's his dead man switch.
I mean, I'm sure there's stuff in the contract that would prevent that from happening, but he can make stuff in the contract that would prevent that from happening.
Does he have children?
I don't know. That's a very good question. If he that's where all this is coming from, right? Like everything going on with Tolkien and all this stuff. It's always the kids and like the estate that allows everything to get changed because it gets sold off to these corporations and then gets bastardized. So,
we'll see.
Also, Armie Hammer not charged.
I don't even know he was charged.
Yeah, no charges filed because of everything that went on. House of Hammer, which is up right now, I should watch it. It's an interesting documentary. I've got several people who have reached out to me and said that I should check this series out. Goes into the history of his grandfather and his dad. The brand Arm & Hammer. I think they called him his grandfather Stalin's favorite capitalist or something like that. His family's got a crazy history, but he was, they said the prosecutor says that they could not prove a non-consensual, forcible S-word encounter. I don't know if what we're allowed to say here had occurred between them. They weren't able to prove it. So, dude, and then did you see Danny Masterson got convicted?
Yeah.
Danny Masterson got convicted on 20-year-old charges, and I don't know how.
It had to have been while he was on doing that 70s show.
Yeah, like a lot of people were posting the old clip from that 70s show where he's in for an interview. He says, like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? He goes, jail.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, how do you prove it 20 years later, right?
I don't know. That's a great question.
But, and it doesn't really end up mattering because what's his name? Was it Spacey who was charged? The charges were just
what
dropped.
What happened with all that? Yeah.
Yeah, they were just dropped a year or two ago, I think. I don't know if there's others that are pending, but I'm like, well, it's over. All of the big shows that he was on booted him or, canceled themselves. So it's like the damage is done, guilty or not, whether or not he spends.
And that was even more recent.
Yeah. So
it's bizarre.
It was Justin Roiland too.
Yeah,
Justin Roiland, like Rick and Morty is done, and it ended up being lies by an ex,
not even true, right?
Like a spiteful ex. Yeah, he was arrested and then was let go, and the charges were dropped. Yep. Now you could argue, hey, maybe there's some back room kind of deal, like hush payments or whatever, but.
Seems to be the
we
case.
Can't speculate on what we don't know.
And now there's this guy, this serial killer out there where.
Oh yeah, you want to give us an update on that, man? Give us the lowdown.
I mean, not really.
No,
I really don't.
You're gonna be put on a list.
It's really not my place,
Okay.
I don't want, and honestly, if I were to say his name, then I would just be helping defame him with the rest of the true crime media.
Yeah, but what if he didn't do it?
I don't know. I mean, that's something you gotta.
What's his name? You can say his name.
So it's interesting because you can't really know anything about the case that's true because there's a gag order in place to where the only information coming out is from people that claim to have gotten it from sources that if they were giving information away, it's illegal. So they're holding the guy. There's man, it's really, it goes deep.
In the chat, so he says he devoured the prosecution. That's a fantastic cannibalism joke. I'm here for it. Also, this was a big one and a surprise to me. Tupac Shakur is getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I had just assumed he already had one on the Hollywood.
How many
Walk
stars
of Fame.
does the Walk of Fame?
Over 2,000.
So that's how many exist currently.
2,758.
Didn't someone's star get broken by
Trump's.
somebody? Yeah. So I guess they could put something in his
So
place.
Nipsey Hussle
rebuilt it, I think.
Nipsey Hussle got a star on the Walk of Fame before Tupac.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're just throwing anyone.
Are they just running out of they need to have a quota of stars to put up, so they're going through dead people now?
Well, I mean, Tupac should have had one years ago. a decade ago.
What I don't like is, so I think it was a college team, right? And there's a video of the athletes going into the building, and they have a rug with the logo on it, and all the athletes walk around it. It might have been a soccer team. They all walk around the logo. They don't want to step on it because it's like a thing of respect. And it's like, well, you're kind of just anybody and their mothers walking all over these people's names. I mean, I get it. It was cool at one point, but is it? I don't even know. Is it even special anymore to go on the Walk of Fame?
I mean, I'm sure for them it is. Like for the people in the industry, I'm sure it's an affirmation of what they've accomplished.
Why did it take so long for Tupac?
That's a very good question, because his mother has kept his career very much alive,
right?
In a lot of ways, between music and documentaries and everything they were just talking about.
He's never gonna get to walk it.
No.
Is Biggie
unless
on there?
the conspiracies are true.
Yep. Well, yeah. Do you think he's alive?
I don't know.
You think he's alive?
Maybe.
Who, Biggie or Tupac?
Tupac.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. No.
I like it because there's always, like, every few years there's a video of somebody who looks like him coming out, and it's always like every time somebody films a video of a look-like Tupac, it turns into Bigfoot footage where it's like they're on like a Galaxy S3 and they're like a block away.
They're riding a dirt bike while recording it.
It's never a dude with an iPhone 14. It's always somebody with a phone from like 20 years ago, and they're like a block away.
Shooting in 140p.
That's my favorite. It's like the Mitch Hedberg skit. He goes, "I think Bigfoot is blurry."
That's what's so nuts to me.
Maybe.
It's like you see these James Webb telescope photos that are coming out, and it's like the most ultra HD pictures you've ever seen of things that are light years away in the galaxy. And then you get UFO footage.
No excuse.
And it's like a 1990s camcorder.
There's it's the Mitch Hedberg. He goes, "I think Bigfoot is blurry. And that's way scarier. There's a large, out-of-focus monster roaming the countryside."
Yeah. You go blind when
You're
he
like,
shows
oh,
up.
what is that in the distance?
Yeah,
but he's like
dude.
really right in front of your face.
I mean, I still think it's possible that Suge Knight had him.
Bigfoot?
No, that'd be even cooler.
He had Bigfoot.
It definitely makes more sense to me that Suge Knight was ruthless. I was watching an old episode of Veronica Mars where Anthony Anderson plays basically like a version of Suge Knight in the show, where they even talk about, like, they're like, "I remember when he held a guy by his ankles over a hotel balcony," and that's like a famous story that Suge Knight held a Vanilla Ice over the side of a balcony and told him to pay up for something, and I guess that's been disproven.
Well,
but that's a story that's gone down kind of as like lore, in hip hop. So, have you ever seen that great video of Vanilla Ice where he tells people why the '90s was the last great decade of pop culture?
No.
I'm gonna send that to you guys later. You guys should go check this out. There's this great video where he explains where basically like the internet came along and it ruined everything. But it's really, really good. Like, everyone should go check that out if they can find it.
how old is it?
I think the clip's about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
But like, at one point I was gonna play it on here, but every version I saw of it had like Ice Ice Baby playing in the background, so I'd end up copyright strike.
Right.
Also, guys, if you're wondering, Into the Across the Spider-Verse comes out today, I believe, but there is a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie in development over at Sony. So if you want to see that someday, that will be a couple years out. But it says it's in development, and it was inevitability because the Across the Spider-Verse series, the first one did quite good, and the projections on this one are looking good as well. So
Are you looking forward to watching the new movie, the Spider-Verse one?
The first, I
don't understand how people are just like,
They're
the
still
animation
happening.
bothers me.
The animation's chaotic.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, but I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it like streaming a year later, so I don't know if I'm gonna go see it. I'm not really I didn't read any of the Miles Morales comics, so I'm more connected to Peter Parker, if at all, to Spider-Man.
Right.
So, it is what it is. So that, just a heads up that is happening. And also, guys, I do want to, spike the ball a little bit here, because after all that stuff that came out where they talked about, The Little Mermaid, it's doing so good. It's doing fantastic. Don't listen to it's review bombing. It's trolls. Well, there's this article from Deadline that says The Little Mermaid swimming against strong tides at overseas box office leaves break even in question, which means they don't even know if this movie is going to break even.
Ugh. I'm so sick of talking about The Little Mermaid.
That means they lose money.
Yes.
Well, yeah. But
Imagine spending that much money to like whenever we talk about this stuff, I always laugh because I'm just like, look, nobody spends $250 million. They're like, oh, it made profit. Like if it makes $10 million of profit, I'm like, nobody spends $200 million to make like $5 million in profit. That's an insane risk to just barely break even and in
Unless
profit
it's a big
slightly.
money laundering scheme.
Well, that's always completely plausible too. It says The Little Mermaid looks to bank more than in the domestic box office than overseas, with 350 million expected at the U.S. and Canada, and only $260 million abroad.
Well, so here's the issue: whether or not you care about the race swapping of The Little Mermaid, as a lot of people I've seen do care about. The problem is that can't be the only thing the movie has going for it. Right. Nope. So for the whole lead up to this, it was like it was all about representation, and now there's young girls and young children, people of color that are going to be inspired because they get to see themselves on screen. But it's like the movie needs to be magical for more than just checking a box on your, woke checklist.
I was sent a video yesterday of a young girl at Disney World who was crying, hugging Halle Bailey.
Really?
And I started laughing. I'm like, they're so good at there's no way you push back on this and you're not the bad guy.
Right.
They're so good at making anyone with an opposing opinion the bad guy, because you can't look at that and be like, well, this is dumb.
Right.
And I don't consider it dumb, because I actually consider it super intelligent on their part, because they shut down all criticism without even trying. It's a catch-22. You can't win.
Yeah, and I mean, and I get that. Just like you said, like there are a lot of children where that is very much the case. It's not just a talking point. That is true for a lot of children, but at the same time, right, you're not trying to just please little children who don't have a job, who don't have money, who can't, you want to make this for everyone. The reason Frozen did as well as it did is because families and parents actually had a laugh. They enjoyed seeing it too. It was a new story. It was fresh. It wasn't just, all right, let's do live action. Let's get, names, familiar names to voice over the characters and make have a few funny moments. Like, that formula does not work anymore. It's so played out.
Yeah. The other thing that's funny about it is that they're pushing forward on the live action Moana with The Rock. His production company's producing it, and that just came out 7 years ago. So it's not even that old, and they're already pushing for live action on that. And I don't know how long it will take to get that made. But for something like this, to be able to make a movie where you're literally supposed to be exempt from criticism, because and of course there were some people in the comments who were like, this is great, but what about original characters? And of course then everybody comes and just starts dunking on you, which leads me into our first topic for the day. So remember, guys, before we get started, I'm going to do the rest of this. I'm going to do wholesome of the day. Or actually, you know what? Should we do cute of the day and cringe of the day? Would you guys like to see cute of the day and cringe of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always.
What would you like to see first?
Cringe.
Cute or cringe? Cringe?
Yeah.
Cringe? Okay. All right, here we go. Let's just do cringe of the day, and we'll get right back into it after that. So here we go. I found this one today. This one is a little bit rough.
What would you want?
It says, guys.
Oh, I saw this.
You saw this? Yeah.
I didn't see it.
On his income
This is what it says. This is what women are expecting guys to make.
to be. I feel like this is gonna sound bad. I feel like 300,000.
I would have to say 127.
Probably 150 to $250,000.
$500,000.
Dude,
500.
you do not get to look like weird bad baby knockoff and tell me to make $250,000.
$250,000 a year.
Wait, so that's what they expect guys
That's
to
what
make?
they expect. That's what they expect to be taken care of.
Is that bad?
I'm more impressed with her for having a complete lack of knowledge of just how much money.
They all have that
150,
lack of
maybe
knowledge.
to 250,000 a year would be comfortable for sure.
I was just having this conversation with my friend, and she was like, you have to manifest a husband, girl. Ideally, my husband needs to be making $650,000.
So you said you want 500K, but what do you think the median income is for a 30-year-old?
60K? 70K?
It is $45,000.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
I think it's $250,000.
$52,000.
What? No, it's not.
Okay, One thing that's interesting about this is it runs headlong into the idea of like we hear a lot about like feminism,
right?
And they want to go to work, and they want to they worked hard to get the ability to go have a job. But then like this exists, so technically both still exist. You can be a feminist, or you can be.
Wait, so are these feminists?
No, I mean I don't know.
Clearly
Would you
they're not.
consider these women feminists?
I feel like the idea is that all right, that's what they're making, right?
Well,
and
they
so
would know.
And they still assume the patriarchy controls everything, and so the men, if they're making 50K, the men must be making 500K.
Oh, I never even thought about that. I was like, well, if they're making a certain amount, they should know what the average is.
Yeah, they should.
median.
They should not be delusional as to what a person is going to make than them.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to make of this because these women, it's not like these women are clearly way older than like even the girls on the Whatever podcast.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if even they,
these are the banes of middle management. These are the women that are the boss babes.
I don't even know what to make of like.
They just must think the wage gap is really big
Yep.
and true.
Well, if they don't, I don't know. I hope they wise up and they're like, oh crap, like this is what people actually make, and maybe they'll,
I hope they manifest husbands. that
Mr.
make that
Reagan, which would piss Surge off, is in the chat, is in the comments, says 150K is not unreasonable. 500K, she's probably dating guys in their 50s.
Yeah. Well, it's like to go with that phenomenon that we're getting closer and closer to where very few men are just getting all the women.
There's no way these women, do you think these women work?
I mean,
how can they work and be that clueless?
no,
as
you're
to
right.
what,
I don't think they do.
I don't think
They have to. What else would they do?
They're
Is there any
being interviewed.
context
They're
here?
professional being interviewed people.
Is there any context here, like where they found these
Gotta
women?
dig into this cringe more.
Yep. So I just thought I would share that with everyone. It is a set of. It kind of boggles my mind sometimes, like how like disconnected from reality you can be and still make it in day-to-day life. Like you can just have no clue how the world works, and then like you see those videos of people that just like they get up, they go to work. It's like they have no inner monologue, and they just exist.
Right.
And society has just built a safety net around our existence so much that you can just be.
Well, I don't believe that they don't have an inner monologue.
I do.
I think they just don't know what their own like monologue actually is.
So I recently watched an interview of this guy that interviewed some chick who didn't have an inner monologue and asked all the questions that everyone wanted to, like, well, how do you read?
Yeah.
Like, she just groups the paragraphs into, like, columns and files the information away.
Dude, to even be able to, like, describe your thinking like that, you got to have an inner monologue.
She
and I think
talks
they don't
out loud with her mouth, though. Like,
I don't know. I feel like people just don't know what it is, and they have one.
How do you go and not know what it is?
Which is just as sad. Which is just as sad and frightening. But I just refuse to believe that people are just walking around radio silence the whole day.
We never said they were radio silent. They're not talking. They're not narrating to themselves as they go about daily life, as far as I know.
So when they look at when I look at the camera, I
maybe
think
Morgan Freeman's reading their thoughts.
Like, well, that's what I'm wondering. So what do they just look like? I don't even know. They have to have a thought.
Like, camera, that's a camera. Oh.
Yeah.
What kind of camera is that?
I don't know.
They have to have a thought. It
is cringy, though. So with that, let's do cute of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You have made your submissions, and you should submit more to PCC on Twitter. This is from Brian on Twitter. He says, Coda and Ghost enjoying a nice breeze. Those are some good-looking dogs right there.
Ghost is cool.
Yep.
Not a dog person, but yeah.
What? You know what?
Well, then here's some cats for you. This is from China Reyes on Twitter. Says, hey, y'all, had some cute kittens created by Mama Cat number 2. OG Mama Cat had Mama Cat number 2. They're born behind our house. They're born behind our house every spring and stick around for a while until they move on.
Born every spring. That's insane.
Those are cute.
Right next to the raid.
Yep.
Nice.
That's not good. It's not good. Get rid of the raid. You got to get that out of there. And here's from Guy Fantastico on Twitter. He says, here's my husky German Shepherd, Kaya, 2 of my chickens, and their new bunny friend. I love the show. It helps me not go full road rage on my commute. Fantastic. We are very happy to help for that. That is an adorable dog, and those are some adorable chickens right there.
You think he's just hungry? looks like he's been chewing at that post.
He's just like, I need some.
Trying to get in those
It's like, I could go
chickens.
for some chicken.
Yeah.
All right, we got a $20 one from Deuce Boogaloo. He says, you know what? I'm going to take a page out of the 304's books and manifest a big titty goth girlfriend. P.S. I just found out American women do have the record for largest average breasts and see that as an absolute win. I agree, my friend.
Well, dude,
Fantastic.
we're like the second most obese country in the world.
Yeah.
That's,
Do those correlate? We're gonna be talking about Lizzo. We're gonna be talking about Lizzo. So
yeah, like no one's saying she's got a tiny chest.
Yeah.
That's out of all the complaints, Lizzo's not receiving that one.
All right, guys, let's get started. So first things first, let's get right into it. This is an article in which a television executive, says that he believes that the next James Bond will not be white. That's his summation. He says, the next James Bond won't be white, according to one industry executive, as the hunt for the 007 intensifies. I think it's going to be at least a year before we get into the final stages of that. 2 years since No Time to Die was released, and Bond kingpins Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli do not have all the time in the world to decide on the trajectory of the next character of James Bond. And then he goes and he says, I think the days of a white Bond are over. This is the TV executive. He says this now. He says, I think the days of a white Bond are over. You could look at the recent casting of Doctor Who as a bellwether in that respect. He's not wrong.
I was just going to say, I mean,
I just don't know why you have to have this mindset when going into casting decisions or even just analysis. Just like have an audition and the best person.
It's no, the
if
problem
it's
is
top down, then you can't even have people in there that are.
Yeah. Here's the problem. The moment you even entertain that idea, it becomes a thought in your head, which means it's part of the decision-making process.
Unless you don't have an inner
unless we have to literally go back in time to a time where this just wasn't part of the public consciousness, then you could talk about colorblind casting. Now, to say hire the best person, which is what most of these things are saying, you're still considering it when you discuss it, right? So, we got a $20 one from Daniel Kiesau. Says, I'm 2 episodes late with this. I bought a ticket for Fast X and then watched The Little Mermaid. I did it for Frozen 2 as well. I'm never giving Disney my money again. I'm still going to watch their movies if I want to. Amen, man. Mary would say, if she was here, she would say, like, are we allowed to tell people to steal? She always asks that question. She goes, are we allowed to encourage it? I said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you to do that, but I will tell you that you don't need to, because we will go and review them, and then you can just listen to us talk about them. That way you don't have to give them your money.
I don't know. Every movie theater has its own policy, so I would just read the fine print on the ticket you buy.
Because it's also a thing where, like, from what I understand, Disney gets more return on the tickets than other studios because they have more bargaining power. So like the average studio keeps like they don't like the studio doesn't keep all of the money. Obviously the theater keeps some of the money. So
that would be really interesting if like you just bought like a general admission ticket to a theater and it goes like it works for any actual movie that's playing.
That's not how it works.
No, so 50 so most of the tickets it's 50-50. So Disney keeps 50 and the theater keeps 50, but I think Disney keeps 60 and the theater keeps 40, and other ones it's 50-50 or something.
Dude, I was always told working at a movie theater that they kept 0, and that's why the concession stands were so expensive. Maybe they lied to me.
Rick C in the chat says, stop giving Disney your money, Brett. I would do that, but people keep telling us to review the stuff.
Listen,
and then you want our opinions on it. It's part of my job.
It's not Brett doing it. It's a certain alter ego.
Yes,
that's
exactly my woke alter ego. He's not. He's never too far away. In his like with his Nintendo Switch making that stupid pose that they all make with the open mouth.
Do the Nintendo Switches have cameras on them?
I don't know.
If they do, you should live stream the next movie.
So it says, however, so he continues, he says, I'd be particularly surprised if a white clipped upper middle class English actor, that would be a bold move. I think it would be suicidal for the Broccoli franchise. Like, I think he's disconnected from reality. I think it's suicidal to just assume that you can change something that inherent to the character and expect there not to be pushback. Or at the very least, by changing it, you're creating an uphill battle for yourself by turning the audience inherently against you.
Broccoli franchise?
That's Barbara Broccoli is the one who owns the name to James Bond with MGM.
That's so crazy.
Mary thought that was hilarious. She was like, "It's a last name. Give me a break."
I mean,
her name's also Barbara, like Barbara Broccoli.
It's very hard to say.
Someone
conflicting consonants.
Also, what the hell does clipped mean?
What do you mean clipped?
Clipped. It says a clipped white upper class English male.
Let me look.
What does that mean?
Like well cut,
Google it.
maybe.
Is that what that means?
Maybe.
No, let me
That's what I
find
would
it.
guess.
And here's the other thing. Like my stance on this has always been the same. I believe that the reason that they floated the idea of Lashana Lynch as James Bond and doing like, what if we do a female James Bond? And plenty of actors and actresses
Jane
alike
Bond.
have come out and said that that's a stupid idea, just create new characters. I think it's their own version of the big sell, where they're like, well, what if we give you a trans James Bond or a female James Bond? That way, when you just get the race swap James Bond, you're like, oh, whatever, right? Like that, like
Trans Bond.
People are, yeah, exactly. People are transponder. They're still saying Idris Elba. And I did put a poll up in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go and answer that one, I asked, is Idris Elba too old to play James Bond? He's 52 or 51, I believe.
Yes.
He is too old.
I don't think so.
He is too old.
You can't be James Bond at 52.
You can't be starting James Bond at 52. You can end your career as James Bond
Maybe.
at 52. But
Yeah, I guess if you have like 20 years being James Bond, and then you're like, this is my retiring movie.
I don't know. Betty White would have been a good James Bond.
What?
You're a horrible troll. You're a horrible troll. Like, because they're expecting them to make 4 or 5 movies, so they expect them to be 35 to 40 at the oldest to
Right.
start that role, right? And Idris Elba's on the older side of that.
You're not going to see like a 70-year-old guy beating people up and.
I mean, yes, you are.
Around.
But that happens all the time now.
How awesome
that
would
happens
that
all
be?
the time now.
But he doesn't
with,
have any superpowers.
With Taken and
That's what I was thinking of.
That's
but
my favorite.
He had a special set of skills that made people dangerous to him. Dangerous.
What if that was Liam Neeson as James Bond? It's just the same.
He could.
He's the
it's
only
just
one I
same
would buy.
lies.
That would be amazing. He's not even he's not American, so he could do that. He just plays an
So
American
many of my
character all the
daughters
time.
got taken multiple times that I decided to become James Bond.
Do you know what? You know what was actually good? And I think I might be the only person in the world who ever watched this show. There was actually a Taken TV show that was actually like kind of good. Had Jennifer Beal in it. It was actually pretty good. Like
Was
it? I mean.
How many people get taken?
Okay, good might be a little bit of an
He's
overstatement.
in charge of like a whole class's field trip, and all these kids get taken.
Basically, yeah. Like it's like, did anybody ever see the? No, nobody ever saw that but me. But like, look, it was.
I might have. What is it?
It was. It wasn't. It was called 13. It was a UK series that was on a long time ago, starring Stuart Townshend.
Kino guy was talking about that.
Was he?
Yeah, I was down. Well, not
No
here.
way.
I was talking to him making espresso. We had like an hour-long conversation about stuff, and I think he was doing something with that movie.
There's no way he was too. It's not a movie. It was a TV show.
Oh, maybe I lied.
It would have
Maybe
been
I made
something
this
else.
all up.
It's like that's not avant-garde enough for him.
Ow.
He's super avant-garde. So, but here's somebody else says. However, another anonymous. I like how they're anonymous. Like if you want to talk about these issues, they have to like do the thing like on 60 Minutes where they put you in shadow and then change your voice to say something that might be controversial in Hollywood now because they all hold a damn grudge. It says, however, another anonymous TV executive disagreed, saying that he would be surprised if Bond wasn't white, and pointed that the previous experience was a much more pressing factor, which is what Broccoli had said. I think it's going to be Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton. That's still my guess. I think they end up hiring him. He's younger. He's got the dapper look. I think it's the progressive story they want to do. And I do. Anytime Hollywood manages to get something right and not screw something up, it always proves to be an accident. Like everyone wants to think that Hollywood's going to change their mind and start listening. And I don't think that that's what happens. I think they screw up and we get lucky once in a while and they don't screw something up. But I think they end up screwing this up probably. But a lot of people are saying Aaron Taylor Johnson from Bullet Train. If anybody here saw Bullet Train, he's a possibility.
I just don't get James Bond vibes.
I saw
from
a
him.
quarter of an episode of Bridgerton before turning it off because it was too boring. So I can't imagine that being a success, but maybe that's just me.
Whatever it is, not Richard Madden. I know there's somebody watching who's not Richard Madden. He's not good in Citadel. Citadel's bad to begin with, and that was his litmus test to play a spy. Not Richard Madden, please. I'd rather have Sebastian Stan play that guy. Other people are saying Tom Hiddleston.
Maybe I could say he's too much of a. He's been penciled in as a bad guy for too long.
Because of Loki.
I think so.
He played a similar type of character in The Night Manager. Like, no, I mean, not the same, but a similar type character.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different people they can choose.
Did you ever see Wallander with Kenneth Branagh? Tom Hiddleston was in the early seasons of that. It's quite good. The show is really drab and faded and depressing. Like, I needed Prozac after watching it, but it was quite interesting. It's based on a book series. So, somebody says Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill is too tall, and I think he's too muscular. I think he would need to shed some of the muscle tone. He'd have to be more unassuming looking, like built, but not.
Well, I guess that's
right. You really can't have a Jack guy in a suit.
I mean, that's a solid question, though. It's like, why don't they expand? Like, Kingsman is really cool.
That's
because
a lot of people were mentioning that.
It's a whole spy network. It's like, why can't they expand? Maybe 007 like retires and builds like a new organization or something. Like, I don't want to ruin the storyline, but also open up avenues to tell new stories.
They should have fat James Bond.
Dude, Kevin James is James Bond.
Kevin James, dude, and then he's serving the King of Queens, the Queen of England.
Oh, my
that's
God.
Amazing.
Dude, we just look.
Leia Remini is Moneypenny.
This writers' strike. They don't need those writers. Look at it. We just came up with a whole probably 3
middle
movies.
name Spider-Man. James Spider-Man Bond.
I'm so down for that. Like Kevin James is, dude. In fact, somebody write the script right now where they're like, it's like he likes his soup shaken, not stirred. Like instead of his vodka, he's like, but I don't need soup anyways because I'm a sandwich guy.
He only wears cuffed pants.
Yes, dude, he's just got dad energy.
He's just got like this really souped up like spy version of the Segway.
No, it's got like it's like a spy lawnmower. It's like a spy lawnmower.
Oh my God.
A spy riding lawnmower. Because wait, didn't Kevin? No, Kevin James he was Paul Blart Mall Cop,
yes.
right? Like there you go.
He's got enough training. he can do it.
Who else? I'm trying to think. Who else? Like Lizzo could be Moneypenny. Then we have Kevin James as James Bond, and then Lizzo as Moneypenny.
I only know one character.
And then M could be played by who's fat and could play M. This is mean, but
it's also played by Lizzo.
Yeah, Lizzo plays all the roles.
Identical twins.
It's just Kevin James featuring Lizzo.
It's kind of like Adam
Melissa
Sandler
McCarthy plays M. Melissa McCarthy plays M, and then Lizzo plays Moneypenny.
She plays James Bond too.
But they're saying that Henry Cavill wouldn't be a good pick because he's Superman, and there's like baggage that comes with him also playing Superman.
Well, that's how I feel about Loki.
Plays all the characters.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you hire the same people to do all these roles. And the funny thing is, the weird thing about James Bond, in fact, I'm going to check the comments now. The James Bond argument is one of those things where, like, I always, whenever somebody asks you, like, who would be a good person to play that, my mind goes blank. Like, when I'm watching something, I see an actor, I'm like, oh, he'd be good in that role. But when I'm actually asked the question, it doesn't come to me.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of with you that Aaron Taylor Johnson doesn't really have Matt Smith. Somebody mentioned Matt Smith. Maybe Matt Smith might be a better Q than I mean, he'd be kind of a older for Q now, but
I don't know who else
they've made Q.
Yeah, I mean they're running out of options quick.
But the thing is, there's so many British actors. Okay, there's a couple of people that are saying Matt Smith. That's not a horrible idea. I wouldn't do it, but I bet you that they don't want the crossover with Doctor Who. Like they don't want those two inherently connected in the same way.
Right.
Though I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Matt Smith or Bern Gorman or David Tennant as Bond villains. Like
yeah. Who is the I can't think of one of the Skarsgård brothers.
There you
go.
One. There you go. Yeah, they'd be good villains.
Yeah.
They have the vibe of villains. Right? Like some people, like it's just unfortunate, but it's what I say about Cillian Murphy. Sometimes you just have a villain face. And that's not a bad thing.
You think he does?
Yes.
I think he's got an anti-hero face, not quite villain.
That you're saying that with Peaky Blinders in
general. No, because he was also in what's the movie with that Emily Blunt and John Krasinski did?
Quiet Place?
Quiet Place. Yeah. He was in Quiet Place too.
Yeah.
And now he's doing Oppenheimer.
I didn't see the second one.
Okay, so he's a hero. He's like this kind of like dark, mysterious guy who helps the family.
Eric from True Blood?
Is he? I never watched True
Deuce Boogaloo says Benedict Cumberbatch got to play Sherlock and Doctor Strange. Yeah, but I mean, I think Marvel superheroes like Doctor Strange isn't
He's
the
too
same
dorky
as,
to be James Bond.
No, he's just saying that like when it's because we were talking about does Henry Cavill get to play both?
Oh yeah.
Like I get your point, but
yeah, but Sherlock was really niche when he was like while that was running. It had a very niche audience. Like at least in America, not many people knew about it. Like maybe now it's different. When it first came out, when it was still because remember, there's only 3 seasons.
What? It was a phenomenon right when it came out. People were
te-
like, "How do I watch it? It's on the
telling
BBC."
You, at first, people were more interested in Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock because he was
the movie
American.
version.
Dude,
the movie
I
version.
guess
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate Sherlock Holmes.
But
What? Why?
Have you not seen Sherlock, the BBC?
What?
version?
I've seen. Okay, so
That's
I actually
really
made
good.
an entire
John
website
Leguizamo.
based around Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2 with Robert Downey Jr. being the worst movies I've ever seen. Just so boring.
They were, but
I hate them.
I like the British one with Benedict Cumberbatch. Is
Yeah.
pretty good.
I mean,
haven't seen that one.
I even like the Elementary with Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy
Oh,
Liu.
gosh.
It's a completely different show, and it's barely Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Only in the most member-berry of respects is it like that. It's basically a police procedural, but I like Johnny Lee Miller as an actor. So we'll see where it goes. There could be a couple of them there. If anybody has any other suggestions, I actually like. The more I think about it, the Matt Smith one. I don't know if Matt Smith has the. He just has bad guy face. I don't know if I think that one is going to work.
face.
So he does. He's got bad guy face. So all right, we got some super chats there.
All right. I have to open up this
Tab.
web page.
Yep.
All right. The last one. How do I scroll over?
Just scroll up to the mouse should work then. Thank you.
The last of my kind says, "Can't wait for the Malcolm X biopic starring Tom Hanks."
Wait, do you
Yes.
say biopic or biopic?
Biopic.
Biopic. Who the hell says biopic? It's like saying myopic, but biopic.
I don't know. That's how I've always read it.
My favorite is the meme of it says like Ryan Gosling is Barack Obama.
Ooh.
It's like the Netflix adaptation, or it says polar bears and it's a bunch of black bears. And then the other great one is there's this picture. So like this is the list of I think it's Danish scientists who discovered the black hole, and it's just a large panoramic shot of a bunch of white guys, and they show this is the Netflix version. It's just the same.
But
thing.
there's a new one that it was like white bread on Netflix,
Yeah.
and it was
Yes.
like banana bread or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
All right, 50 Charlie.
50 Charlie says, "Up at 4, coffee and bacon for breakfast, boys."
All right, got me beat.
It is the boys today.
Grey Jedi, Outcast. Yeah, there's this weird like, what's the word I'm trying to come up with? I don't know. I've just seen Grey Jedi everywhere all of a sudden. This
Okay.
idea of the
Gray
Grey Jedi.
Jedi?
Yeah.
Like old Jedi?
No, like he's not Sith. He's not a Jedi. He's in the middle.
Yeah, but what do you think about beige flag?
Like,
Have you seen beige
like
flags?
Deadpool would be a Grey Jedi because he's not a villain. He's not a hero.
I
don't know
watched.
what that
Wasn't that
means.
just an anti-hero?
Yeah, I guess.
Did you see the video the other day? There's this amazing video of it's just like a little girl at like a grocery store, and it's like a aisle of 20-ounce sodas, and she just picks all of them up, shakes them as
no.
hard as she can, and puts them back. It's
They'll be all right in a few minutes.
chaotic evil.
Anyway, so Grey Jedi says, in the late 90s and early 2000s, pumped out the best natural disaster movies. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
No, you're absolutely right about that. In fact, Day After Tomorrow.
I was just going to say Day After
Day
Tomorrow.
After
really
Tomorrow is fantastic. So is Deep Impact. So is, I mean, it's not a natural disaster movie, but like Roland Emmerich made Independence Day and also made, that was his forte.
Yeah.
Was the disaster
2012.
movie. And I'm not going to lie, we went and saw Moonfall. And I have not laughed that hard. We did a review that was like an hour long because we couldn't stop laughing.
Really?
We just talked about
watched
how
that one.
stupid it was. They're like, the moon's attacking us. The moon and the moon
Yeah, the
becomes
moon
sentient.
falls into the earth.
It's incredible.
It's sentient?
The moon has a consciousness. It's fucking, at least
You
from
didn't know
what
that?
I remember,
kind of
that's
movie.
what it had. But it was like, while I was watching it, all I could think about was like, dude, if I still did drugs, this would be the shit. That's all I could think about while I was watching it. And there's one. Read the next one from
Corey
Corey
Anderson says, Oppenheimer R rating equals titties.
Very likely, maybe. I mean, maybe some type of sex scene, but
Well, I don't know.
I don't know
See,
if Nolan would need it for that.
Maybe, but I almost feel like it's just going to be a bunch of F-bombs and maybe a gruesome scene of someone getting burned working on like the nuclear
I think the
bomb.
language is the best, probably
Yes,
the best
yeah.
indicator of that. So, all right, let's hold off on the rest and we will come back. All right, guys. So it's time to talk about Lizzo, which I don't know if we've done in a while, but Lizzo threatens to quit music and go live on a farm due to the overwhelming push of fatphobic comments that have come through on her page lately. This is one of those things. On a different day, I'll laugh at this, and I'm probably going to laugh here. But at the same time, you do something like what she does, you're going to get a lot of hate comments, and it's probably hard to deal with from time to time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she doesn't have it coming, given what she's pushing. Like, look, if you're going to make your body image, like a niche body type, part of your business model, you're gonna have to see something like this coming. Like, it's going to be part of what's going to happen to you. And she says, I'm not trying to be fat, but I'm not trying to be smaller either. Because somebody pointed out, they're like, how can she be the size she is when she's running around on stage that much? But we talk all the time about, like, you look at NFL linebackers who are enormous and you can't win them because they're in such good shape.
But dude, they don't get called fat. They get called big. Yeah. But they don't get. There's a clear difference.
Well, that's because they're not like making it a part of their business model.
Like, it doesn't matter if you like. Lizzo says she eats clean and she does nothing. Yep. And I'm like, yo.
Does nothing.
If you eat 5,000 calories of healthy food, you're still eating 5,000 calories.
Right. You only burn 2,000 a day.
So it says, y'all don't know how close I am to giving up on everyone and quitting and enjoying my money and my man on an effing farm.
You should do that anyway. Stop threatening us. That sounds fun. That sounds relaxing.
She says, I'm not trying to be fat. I'm not trying to be smaller. I'm literally just trying to live and be healthy. This is what my body looks like even when I'm eating super clean and working out. Y'all speak on S you don't know nothing about. But that wasn't the part that I found the most concerning. At the end, well, first of all, there's all the positive affirmations. I am this, I am that. And this is where the joke comes in. We're like, well, if girls think Lizzo's so beautiful, why do they get annoyed when I compare them to her? But she says at the end, she says, I may not be one person's ideal body type, like, say, Kim Kardashian might not be someone's ideal body type, but she's a body icon and has created a modern-day beauty standard. And what I'm doing is stepping into my confidence and my power to create my own beauty standard, and one day that will just be the standard. So she's saying that everybody will one day look at Lizzo as the beauty standard.
Well, she's kind of right, because getting yourself to look like Kim Kardashian is not healthy, and neither is getting yourself to look like Lizzo. Kim Kardashian's 50% plastic. It's a lot of surgeries and enhancements that normal people do not need, should not do. And Lizzo's letting yourself go for however many years. Both are very unhealthy lifestyle choices. So, but she is right. She's right. Kim Kardashian is an icon for being unhealthy, as is she.
Well, Lizzo claims to not have been letting herself go for many years, right?
Yeah.
She worked out.
I just saw a photo, like I think this morning or last night, of Lizzo when she was a kid, but she was not big, like, right?
Really?
She wasn't skinny, but she was not like this, right? So, like, she, like, your metabolism slows down when you get older, and she did not adjust for that.
And let's face it, the reason people get annoyed is not because you look the way you do. It's because you elevate it to the level of poetry and act like it's some great thing to be aspired to. You can't be mad when people push back on that. Yeah. You've made it part of your business model. Also, the first thing I thought of when I saw this, and I'm not lying, do you remember, you might have even been on one of the shows when Rebel Wilson, do you know who Rebel Wilson is, the actress?
Yeah.
So she had clauses in her contracts that she wasn't allowed to lose certain amount of weight when she was playing roles. Because when you're shoehorned in as the fat humor, you're costing the studio money if you are no longer able to portray the fat humor. I don't buy that there isn't some type of language in her brand deals that require her to push things and remain at a certain size. At the very least, very, very vague language that means that she has to be able to represent what is in the best interest of this product. If you're going to be on Fabletics advertising team, you have to look a certain way,
there's only two, like, actual realities here. Is one, she's got a medical condition, which maybe she is trying really hard to lose weight, and she just can't
Why would
because
she
of a
just tell
medical
people
condition.
that, though?
Exactly. And if she doesn't know, whatever. But if she does, well, that's not normal, right? This is
right.
like,
You can't have the standard be medical condition.
Right. This is an outlier. This is special circumstance. And if it's not a medical condition, well, she's just lying then. Whether she's lying to herself or lying to everybody, it's the same result. It's like, if you are not burning more calories than you're putting in, you're not going to lose weight.
There's a possibility. I mean,
with her, she's going to need surgery. You know how much extra skin is going to be there? And it sucks.
Yeah.
Like I'm
I
sure
don't
doctors
doubt-
have told her that.
I mean, but I don't doubt that she gets being on stage that much, she's getting exercise.
And plus she's so big, she's probably burning even more calories.
Exactly. So she's probably actually in fairly, is it possible to be in good shape but stay that size without a medical condition? I don't know.
She'll die eventually from a
But
heart
listen,
attack.
listen, sumo wrestlers are regarded as pretty healthy.
What?
But for being as big as they are, they're actually pretty healthy. Now, I don't listen, at the end of the day, she's an American too, and we know how crap the American diet is.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no way. I just don't understand how because you're right, she has a lot of activity, but how have we seen no weight loss?
Look, but the thing, I get the bravado and the exhaustion that she's feeling. Like people say enough bad stuff about you, and you're just sick of it, and you want to be done with it. And she's made enough money; she doesn't need to go and keep doing this.
Well, I don't know why she's even like.
Yeah. Why
she's looking for people to be like, no, Queen, I love you.
Exactly.
Don't go anywhere.
She's not actually going to go live on a
because
farm.
I think that's like, not even because I don't like Lizzo. Like, I think that's a good, healthy choice to do, regardless of your circumstance.
And this is the price you pay for monetizing a controversial issue.
Because Lizzo, whether or not you were skinny, they'd find something else to roast you about. Like, that's what the internet does. That's what fans of icons do.
But also,
they
remember,
will always find something.
Adele got crap, and she didn't even make her size part of her business model. Not in the same way. I mean, a bunch of weird people identified with her in a way that she can't stop them from doing, but she would actually call that out. She's like, look, I'm not here to be your savior or to represent you. I'm just me. And she still got flack when she decided to lose weight and get in shape. And the same with Rebel Wilson.
It's jealousy. It's jealousy and spite from people who might look similar to Lizzo, and then when they see someone getting healthy and actually all the work paying off, they get mad. They get jealous because they aren't trying as hard as someone else is. And
also they develop unhealthy relationships with with these people, where they start to, like, we're going to be talking about that more in the Taylor Swift segment, but they develop really, really unhealthy parasocial relationships with people that they find a hard time separating themselves from. It's where you get a lot of this content where, like, Taylor Swift fans have turned her into like some type of like comic book character almost. There's lore.
Insane.
There's lore behind her. There's member bears.
I was up here like literally on the floor. I was so frustrated. I'm like, why does every album now that she puts out, she has to put another one out right after that says Taylor's version? Like, what was the first album you put out? Are you not Taylor Swift? Are you not the performer of the album? Oh my god!
Flash could be the second greatest superhero film ever, says Brett. Michelle Rodriguez's body in Fast X. Michelle Rodriguez seemed to keep herself in very good shape in those movies. She had defined musculature. Like, I'm here for it. And then we saw those comments recently from like 2015 where she's like, why are they race changing all the superheroes?
Just come up with your own stories.
And I'm like, let's go. Oh, also, I didn't even show this one today. For the fans of Fast X, they're making a Hobbs spinoff that's not Hobbs and Shaw. So The Rock is getting his own spinoff without Jason Statham. So that's going to happen. For Lizzo, I just like the only reaction though in these cases, like, you're not going to have some type of, even if you have a bunch of introspection about what all this means, putting it out there is always just asking for trouble, because the second you show weakness, people pounce.
Yeah.
So the only answer for them is more bravado, more ego. So on a certain level, I understand it, and I don't even have a problem with it, but I do think she's unhealthy.
Yeah, but again, listen, this is the life that you're living in. You can't demand, like, there's this weird assumption that you, like, when you get to a certain status, that you're immune from criticism. It's not the case. Your criticism increases tenfold when your status goes up.
And in this thing, they get to enjoy all the benefits of using those controversial issues to their benefit. Right? So if you get to use all of that glory that comes from standing on your soapbox for these social issues, you can't be surprised when people push back or get weirded out when people end up being upset with you, when people who identified with you so inherently start to turn on you when you decide to change anything about yourself. Like,
did she have a McDonald's meal named after her? I can't remember if she was one of them.
Lizzo burger?
No. Remember they had like the BTS meal.
There was
Travis Scott.
I remember the Travis Scott.
Didn't
burger.
she have one too?
I have no idea. I feel like she would have like not done that. Like,
or would she?
She gets like a vegetarian burger.
I swear there was some kind of food
to
partnership.
subvert
I'm
expectations. She gets the vegetarian burger.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she was in an ad trying the Impossible Burger.
No, Kim Kardashian had the creepy ad with the Impossible Burger where she clearly isn't eating it. She's like fake eating the burger.
Right.
Well, on that note, tomorrow's National Donut Day, so
Is it?
you can get free donuts at places.
What's your favorite kind of donut?
Probably Krispy Kreme for like the chains, like the main ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't like.
I've never seen the appeal of like a Krispy Kreme donut.
Oh, they're so much better.
Like
than,
a glazed donut.
Well, they have all kinds, but it's just like a lot lighter than Dunkin' Donuts.
Did you see Dunkin' changed its name? It's just Dunkin' now.
Oh, that's what it's like. Who
Like
did that?
Dunkin'
Domino's
Toy
did
Chest?
that like 10 years ago. Domino's dropped Domino's Pizza. It's just Domino's.
Wow, I never even noticed that.
I didn't even know there was a pizza on the end of it. I just called it Domino's
Same.
Pizza. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So they dropped the pizza like 10 years ago. So it's just Domino's now.
Now I'm picturing Lizzo. Like, Lizzo gets all of these advertisement
Drops
requests.
the Zoe, it's just Liz.
It's just Liz. Or just Zoe.
Yeah.
Dude, she'd be a good actress for like a before photo for like all the medical treatments and stuff.
Before and after.
That's really mean, Kellen.
But somebody points out, they said, how can she? And I also I fail to have all the sympathy for her because of her stance, where she keeps talking about like bringing drag queens out on stage in defiance of the law, and then being surprised when people get like you're going to get in trouble for that, because she did that in Tennessee, which means, like I said, she is attached herself to all these social issues, and then gets mad when people disagree with her.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get that. We don't get that option. Like, if we're gonna have to talk about this stuff, then we have to accept the pushback that comes back. That comes with it as well. That's part of it. You can choose to not read it and ignore it, which she can do. She's part of the establishment system. She doesn't need to read anything that's said about her.
Right, unless she has like an assistant who's pulling up her tweets every morning and like good morning, today this person said X about you.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're like a social media personality or an influencer, you kind of have to do that yourself to stay in touch with your audience, to stay in tune with your audience. But if you're part of the establishment media, you get to just pick and choose. You can pay attention to whatever you want to pay attention to because you've got people that do that for you.
It's like Cartman from South Park. Send me a list of the best comments only.
Yes, well, it's not a horrible idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Lizzo for me is one of those ones where it's like, what do you expect? This is going to happen when you stay that hard on social issues like that.
Dude, honestly, she can make a whole, like, with her platform. Imagine if she did move to a farm and just started documenting, like, vlogging, like her.
Well, we're gonna be talking about that too with the ranching influencer.
Yeah,
later.
her lifestyle on a farm, and it's like that would be wildly successful. And you know what? You're promoting good habits.
One episode, one season, maybe.
No. She
wouldn't hack it. I don't think so.
No, but she'd have people behind the scenes.
She could have McDonald's on the farm.
Assuming it worked, yeah, it'd be a great show.
See, we used to have this cornfield, but we're actually going to clear it for a Sonic drive-through.
I'm down. I'm so down.
There we go.
I'm sorry, but I found the last line about how she's saying that her look, like what she is going to be the beauty standard, to be a threat in a way. It felt like a threat. She says,
really does
and what I'm
sound
doing
like
is also. What stepping into my confidence might be the most blabbering liberal leftist BS. Like it's like my truth.
Or
what the fuck does stepping into my confidence even mean?
That means that
manifesting a
you've
man that makes
accepted-
$500K.
I apologize for the F word. What the F does stepping into my confidence even mean?
It means accepting you have no control over your own actions, so you're just gonna wear it like a skin suit that is you.
Well, it's a very large skin suit, if that's what it is.
It's got to manifest, dude.
It's a fat suit.
It says, Weird Al performs the song. He has the song "I'm Fat." It's like Michael Jackson's "Bad," but he performs it in a fat suit. I don't know if he still does, but he did up until like a couple years ago.
What if Lizzo covered that song?
That would be amazing. Like, I mean, that would actually be amazing because it would be like owning it.
That'd be based
in a way. So, I would love to know what the hell stepping into my confidence actually means, but also saying that the power to create my own beauty standard, and one day that will just be the standard. That is scary.
It is like, I know we're kind of getting towards the end of the segment, but it is frustrating when you think of like other really talented artists, and it's like Lizzo's kind of like just this day and age where you can't just be a beautiful, talented artist. There needs to be something wrong with you, and you fighting against the haters is what makes you special. Like I'm thinking of like Alicia Keys or Beyonce, or
Taylor. With the Alicia Keys reference. I just saw
it's
a video.
Always been like that,
I kid you not. TMZ just had a video the other day. It was like Ashanti is kissing Nelly at this concert. I'm like, I looked at my computer. I'm like, what? Yeah, I was like, what the hell year is that? I literally had to look. I'm like, no, it says 2023. What the hell year is it?
Yeah, so it's just like they were on top of the world, still you drop either name and people are like, "Oh yeah, they're great. They're very talented." But it's like they didn't need some crutch to lean on to be popular, you know?
Who's an example of a larger artist, like somebody, maybe not Lizzo's side, that was bigger before?
The guy, I actually just read about it. The guy that did the cover of Over the Rainbow, the Hawaiian dude.
Apparently he wrote. Apparently he went into the
38.
studio and did that in one take.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a myth. That's just an infographic that I read one time.
I've read that too. I don't know, but he died like a few years later after that song got popular.
Who is the guy who won the first American Idol? Somebody will remember this.
Oh, Taylor Hicks? Is that his name?
There was a there was a bigger guy who was like first or second at the first American Idol, and he was a big dude, and that was
who won? Kelly Clarkson didn't win it, or did she?
I think
she was the first winner, right?
It was like somebody might remember the name. Even she's kind of big now, like Kelly Clarkson is.
Oh yeah.
She's already won American Idol. That could be false.
Meatloaf, Chubby Checker.
I was gonna say Meatloaf.
Fats Domino.
Biggie was
Domino.
Biggie was big, but
and Biggie used it to his career.
Okay, how about somebody who doesn't use it in their name?
What if Biggie was alive today and had to talk about
what if Biggie was Tupac but got skinny?
No, dude. Oh yeah, Ruben Studdard. That's his name. Imagine if Biggie was still alive and we had to listen to interviews of people asking him questions about fat phobia. Maybe we were better off from the timeline we're in to keep that from happening. Because I don't want to hear Biggie talking about fat phobia.
Ruben Studdard?
Yeah, that was his name.
Okay.
Oh man.
Huh.
All right. What about Kelly? I'm sorry, Rachel Ray. She's kind of a bigger lady. Does that?
I don't know if she's like.
She also does a cooking show, though.
All those cooking show ladies are bigger, though. If you watch the...
Oh, Ruben Studdard got runner-up from Clay Aiken.
Clay Aiken.
What about Tiny Tim? He died. He was pretty fat.
Yep.
What was I going to say? All those chef hosts end up getting big because I've been watching that Chef with Selena or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can see the progression from season 1 to I think they're on season 2 now. It's like you can see her getting bigger.
So yeah. All right, guys. Let's move on. We got some super chats there.
All right. Where did we leave off?
Ooh, Big Pun. Good point. Big Pun is a good bigger person. Fat Joe. Another good, but those are rappers.
There's the comedian we were just talking about.
Ralphie May was big, but he literally died from being.
A lot of them do.
He died?
Ralphie May died.
Dude,
a while ago.
While ago. Yeah.
Chris Farley.
He's dead, yeah.
All right. James Orenthal Nguyen says discount hoes get discount Joes.
Well, like those ladies, my friends, that I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean. Have you ever seen that stand-up bit where this guy talks about, he goes if you're in LA and you pull a 9, he goes, you are essentially kissing the penis of a rapper. What? He's basically it's just what they've been around because there's only so many 9s.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
The girl who said you need to make $500,000 was not a $500,000 girl. I'm sorry. I'm not a prize. I'm not saying that I'm good looking.
Is anybody?
I'm saying that I'm not like if the roles were reversed and there was the female version of me, I'm not somebody who has the who would be in their right mind to say that they deserve somebody who makes $500,000 a year.
Well, there are a few videos where they will show the juxtaposition between guys who answer those questions and girls. Yeah. And the guys
are
like,
always more reasonable.
They really don't care.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't care what she does as long as she's treats me right and just attractive. You know. They're like, I don't care how much they make.
Okay, then let's look at it from that perspective. Then the delusion. If this was the guy's version of that, and instead of asking about girls' incomes, they said like, what does a girl have to rate on your subjective 1 to 10 scale? I do not get to look like this and say, yeah, she's got to be a 9. Or a 10.
That's what Andrew Tate does.
Or a 12. like I don't get to do that. I don't get to do that and say that I'm rational and sane.
Listen, I'm not saying Andrew Tate is out of shape. He's obviously ripped and very healthy, but the guy also kind of has that Pete Davidson phenomenon going on where you really look at him and he's kind of just all over the place, like random features attached to his one head.
Did you see the amazing Andrew Tate one-man jihad against LinkedIn yesterday? Dude, he's just going off on how much he hates LinkedIn. It's incredible. Awesome. Like it's my favorite. Like seeing stuff that he tweets, it is my favorite because it's got to be like half troll. Like he contradicts himself all the time.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And it's my favorite part. Like I love it. Like I don't care. Like I have no opinion of him other than he's well-spoken and he makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
He's a good
fighter.
fighter.
That's what Twitter's for, though.
Grizzly Panda says there's 12s. If 12s do exist, I don't get to say that I deserve a 12. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's. We got a $20 one right there. It's from Deuce Boogaloo. Says Sean Morgan, the lead singer of Seether, has always been overweight. As someone who's also a musician and struggles with weight issues, seeing him actually did bring me comfort. Seeing him actually did bring me comfort. He could be a serious rock star despite it. I think I remember that guy. I do remember Seether. They sing that song "Broken."
A lot of lead singers are overweight.
Wasn't the lead singer of Fall Out Boy very big or bigger, and then he lost a bunch of weight?
Patrick Stump?
Yeah, he was chubby in the beginning, and then lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
There's a band called Modern Baseball, I think it was. So their lead singer is pretty overweight.
Yeah, there you go.
There's more than one. It's just first.
Those ones come to your mind off the top of your head.
Like I looked at the cover, I'm like, that guy's kind of big.
All right. Purple says live action Moana would be perfect because The Rock is perfect for that role. Doesn't seem forced. By the way, girls these days are delusional. Yeah.
Some of them, yeah. And also The Rock he voiced that character.
Well, not only that, but he's like actually Pacific Islander, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's
Polynesian?
He's
or no, he's American Samoan.
Samoan, yes. Because he's Samoan culture has a huge place in wrestling. There's a long dynasty of pro wrestlers that come from that culture, and he's part of that. His dad before him, and then now his cousin is Roman Reigns, who has been the WWE champion for like 3 years.
That's the last Fast movie I watched, is where they all go to his island, his hometown, or his
I've
home
never
island.
seen one.
You've never seen Fast and the Furious?
No.
Okay, Hannah Claire.
Wait.
I'm never gonna watch it either.
Okay, Hannah Claire. We're just gonna sit them both down.
Not gonna happen.
How did he make it up here? Who let this guy in?
That's true. How did I get
Who the
up
hell
here?
let this guy in?
Well, dude, you have a cat as security. He doesn't really do much. He kind of just sits there and stares at you. Bocus.
He likes me.
Bocus is gonna boot you out of here, man.
All right, let's do one more and then we'll move on.
The last of my kind says, Kellen, what you're describing is not what they're doing. They're trying to swap the races, not expand the material. I would totally love to see Idris Elba as 003 or something.
And to me, I still think he would be better off as a villain. I really do. I think Idris Elba would be a great villain.
Elba, no. I think he's more James Bond than he is villain, to be honest.
No, you know what they do? They make him like his character in The Wire, and they actually have the balls to make him play an American villain in a James Bond movie. Like, that would throw him on their heads, because everyone's been trying to get him to play James Bond forever, and instead they don't just make him a villain, they make him an American villain, because he plays American villains so well. That would be incredible.
Could be.
That would be great. All right, let's move on, guys. We will come back to the rest there. If you have super chats, send them on in. So I want to talk about Swifties. I never thought that would happen without Mary here. I really didn't. I really didn't think there would be a time where I would have a Taylor Swift topic. Yes. So I have a couple articles here. The first one says that Taylor Swift fans are experiencing post-concert amnesia from the flood of emotions they're feeling while going to a Taylor Swift show. And another one that says Taylor Swift fans are wearing diapers to the concert so that they don't have to miss any of the show.
What? I don't understand it.
It says post-concert amnesia is real. Jenny Takadian says. She told Time Magazine. She's from New York, went to see Taylor Swift, 33, at Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts, but had spent so long dreaming about what it would be like to see the singer in person, she claimed she couldn't grasp what was reality and what wasn't.
Wow.
Dude.
Yo. These people are insane. Have you seen the concerts that are like you said, Gillette Stadium? You are nowhere close to that stage.
No.
She looks like an ant compared to
To
where
be
most
honest, I
people are
kind of
sitting.
blame Taylor Swift for this. She could just, be nice enough to give an intermission for them to go to the bathroom. They wouldn't have to wear diapers.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, imagine the level of power you would feel to read an article, to be Taylor Swift and read an article like this, where people are saying they're losing grasp of reality and soiling themselves just to be in your presence.
I bet she reads that and then she adds a song on the end.
I don't
She's
even think people did this in
longer.
the 80s when it
Well,
was
I mean, the people fainted at Michael Jackson concerts, and people went nuts for the Beatles.
They did,
That's
but
true.
pissed their pants nuts.
I don't
They
know
probably
about
did because they're probably on a lot of drugs.
It's hard to put together what you
Sure.
actually witnessed, she said, sharing that it was probably a case of sensory overload. That could also speak to the type of audience that you pull in. Right? Like the people who are going to see a Taylor Swift concert are going to most likely be overwhelmingly female. Maybe this stuff happened when Justin Bieber was famous, who seems to be one of the last great American pop stars that was allowed to be straight, white, and male and have like a majority female audience.
Can I read this comment underneath the article? It says, it's a demonic ritual. That's why they're having trouble remembering.
That could, dude.
It goes on, but that's why.
We need Alex Jones to get on the case.
So apparently these are Satanist concerts that Taylor Swift is putting on.
I mean, I kind of want to go to one of these and see what it's like. Maybe I'd have amnesia.
I don't know if we're going to allow you back in if you go that close to the...
I don't want to be around people that are pissing themselves.
Here's the parts. This lady says that during the hour-long wait to leave the stadium, she was looking back at the set list and realized she couldn't remember if if she had played some of the songs.
You know why?
Why?
Because they're all the same song.
Hey, look. Style is a bop. Style is still a bop. Should have said I pointed out to somebody, I don't remember who I was talking to. I was like, I still remember Taylor Swift in the country era. I still remember.
I liked her most in that
Tim
era.
McGraw, and should have said no. Another fan from Gettysburg attended Swift's show in Philadelphia and describes it as an out-of-body experience and said it was as though it didn't really happen to me.
People are so lame.
I mean, I actually have to have a little bit of joy for anybody that can find something in the world that speaks to them this much. I don't know if I would ever want it to be something from another person.
Right.
Like, I would rather it be something that I created myself that brings that. Like, skating skating doesn't bring me that much joy, but
out-of-body experience every time.
Yeah, you pee your pants when you go skating?
Yes, yeah.
You're like, this is just so much fun.
I love it. It says this is not a concert specific phenomenon. It can happen anytime you're in a highly emotional state. So it's like, like people get kidnapped and abducted and they get brought home.
So being at a Taylor Swift concert's like being kidnapped and abducted all in one day and then forced to pee in your pants.
When Luke was here, I remember Ian and Luke got into the conversation about how certain frequencies in music can be like almost act like mind control and manipulate you. So I bet that's what she's doing, man. I bet she's got this one song and there's this certain verse in the song and then everyone's just peeing their pants. Oh
yeah, the brown note. That's apparently a thing.
They're like, play the brown note.
Oh God.
So it says, if you're at a concert and someone you love, if you're at the concert of someone you love, surrounded by thousands of very excited other people listening to music you've established emotional links to, there's going to be a lot of emotion happening. All to you at one time, says neuroscientist Dr. Dean Burnett. Look, this is why they end up giving honorary classes at colleges where you have to study like Beyonce or you have to study Taylor Swift. There are Taylor Swift and Beyonce classes being taught at colleges.
Really?
Yeah.
What could they possibly do? I mean, look at this TikTok. If you scroll down in the Indie 100 article, look how far away they are. You can't even see her, dude. Yep. Right there, that one. Yeah.
Here, let's play it. Let's put it
I just don't want to get copyrighted if it's her music.
It's just screaming.
If they swap Taylor Swift out with Donald Trump at the last
The phone doesn't even have the zoom. Like, you see some guy with a telescope.
No, they're zoomed in all the way.
Like, no, I'm saying the phone doesn't even have enough zoom to get even further than that.
Bro, you're telling me that? You're telling me that right there, that point of view was worth spending how many hundreds of dollars on these tickets?
The lady who
fighting the crowd.
The lady the one before who said that she got amnesia. She goes, I know it was real because I saw the $950 taken out of my bank account to go to the show.
Huh.
So
insane.
she's estimated to make almost $2 billion on this tour.
Like when I was when I lived closer to DC, I'd go to a lot of concerts, and the one Shaq just showed up and started walking through the crowd, which was pretty cool. Nice. I think it was Snoop Dogg's concert, that's why he was there. But it's like he walked right past me, and I'm like, that was really cool. But that was like the extent of my emotional response to it. I didn't have amnesia. I didn't piss myself. I'm just like, whoa, I can't believe that was Shaq. That was cool. And then I still remember the concert I went to, you know.
Well, here's that article. It says, this is from Indie 100. It says, Taylor Swift fans are wearing diapers to her concerts so they don't miss a thing. I wonder if anybody who listened to Aerosmith's Don't Want to Miss a Thing wear a diaper while listening to that song. It says fans are taking concert etiquette to a whole new level by wearing diapers so they don't miss a second of her performance. The running joke circulated on TikTok with one fan writing, the diaper rash and trench foot were worth every moment of Taylor Swift looking right at us. That was from the person who was like in the back of the stadium. She was not looking right at you. She was just looking north.
She wasn't looking at any of them because the lights were in her face. She couldn't see shit.
Yeah. And that video has 300,000 likes on that. It says another clip that racked up almost 300,000 views shows a fan struggling with their oversized disposable pants. It's the most durable and the most absorbent, she said. Like,
people actually did this?
Can you imagine being like this girl, like assuming this lady has a boyfriend and he's just like...
Well, I think the reality of it is it's probably so jam-packed with so many...
Probably can't get to the bathroom.
You probably can't, and if you do, you're probably waiting an hour for that line.
Yep.
Right.
You know? Which, bro, I don't know why you'd want to put yourself in that situation.
Taylor
that
Swift
just
could have
seems like a
capitalized
terrible...
on that and, you know, sold Swifties at the place, you know? Taylor Swift diaper. Missed opportunity.
Swifties.
Could have made $3 billion.
It's like Swift X Pampers. It's like a brand deal with Pampers to sell adult diapers.
We should do that.
And then she just sells and then she just offloads the leftovers to nursing homes when she's done.
Grandma, where'd you get these?
Damn.
Dude, that's just crazy. Like, also, did you see that like people are like they're still mad at her for dating Maddie Healy? And I actually
I didn't know they dated. That's insane.
They're
He's
together.
really short.
What?
What?
She's dating Maddie Healy right now. And I've got questions, Rolling Stone. So it says we wouldn't be having this conversation about Taylor Swift if she was a man. And they're actually probably right in a certain respect. But it says, publicity stunt or not, this is the part that bothered me. Publicity stunt or not, Swift can have a sleazeball summer if she damn well pleases. Look, you guys are the ones who tell us that racism is the worst thing that ever happened in human existence. So what you're saying is that, first of all, I'm not saying this. They're saying that Maddie Healy is a racist. You're telling me that you can date a racist, but just for a summer. There's a time limit. It's like Cinderella. She turns into a racist pumpkin at midnight if she doesn't get back home. I don't know if you're being really true to your morals here. Why is she?
He says it's fake.
What?
Maddie Healy says they're not dating.
They're dating.
Oh.
They're
It's all but confirmed at this point.
Well, he's still going out with other people, so.
Well, because it's a sleazeball summer, dude.
they're sleeping around. I do love the idea that her fans. No, that's not what he said. He just said the other day, he said he was surprised that people cared so much, and he thought people that cared enough to be mad at them were kind of mental.
Maybe if she, like, put herself into very, like, interesting situations and then wrote an album, I'd be more inclined to listen. But I'm just so tired of her breakup
poems. Does he respect her songwriting? I wonder.
Oh, we missed a unusable alpaca. I'm sorry. We missed a $20 super chat, my friend. I apologize. It says, I think for the payment on movies is something like a 2-week thing. Like opening week would be 80-20, with 80% going to the studio, and then it drops in the studio from there and goes up for the theater as the showings progress. I would need to see like an article or something on that. I've never heard that, but I guess that makes sense. If that's true, that they keep 80% of that first week's opening, but I would need to see something. I'll look that up later.
We have another $20 one from Deuce. Did you already get that one?
From about Sean Morgan?
Yeah.
We did that
okay,
one. We did that one. Yeah, sorry about that one, Alpaca. I missed that one. My apologies, my friend. I'm the bad guy here. But yeah, they're saying that she's allowed to date a racist. It's just for the summer.
Just for the summer.
You can't date racists in the winter. That's when Christmas is, and you don't want to be with a racist when Christmas comes. You don't want to have to take that Christmas photo with your alt-right. You don't want to be Sig Heiling in your Christmas photo.
That's season's greetings.
Yeah.
Well, it's like because like the Taylor Swift is a Nazi thing has been going on for years because she's just so. Haven't you ever seen that photo of her?
Was she the one that her dad took her to those weird pageants growing up? Who was that? Do you guys remember when that story broke? It was like these white supremacist pageants.
Oh no, it wasn't her. I know what you're talking.
Who was
it was like the Bluebell pageants or something like that. It wasn't her. It was somebody else.
But it was someone huge. Who was it?
Yeah, I don't. Halloween.
That was crazy. I forgot about that happening.
Maybe that was her. I don't know.
I thought it was.
But there's an amazing Taylor Swift photo where she's with a guy who's got a swastika on his shirt in a Halloween photo. And it turned into like there's AI photos, like photoshops of her where somebody puts like a swastika on her cheek and stuff like it's become an internet meme for a very long time. But yeah, she's allowed to have her summer. It's funny.
Well, good for her.
If you wanna be a white supremacist for a summer, Taylor, I guess you're allowed because Rolling Stone says so.
Are we accepting that Maddie Healy's a racist? I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either. He's just a liberal who has
a sleazy guy.
He's just a sleazy guy who likes to push back in the culture.
Yeah,
but
I don't think he's sleazy either.
You don't think he's sleazy?
He's cool.
You like Maddie Healy?
Yeah.
Big Maddie Healy fan? Do you do push-ups in front of Ben Shapiro videos?
No, I just like the music.
You know who I'm a big fan of now because there's a photo that came out of her smoking a cigarette?
Who?
Jenna Ortega.
I don't know.
I saw that.
Yeah, and everyone's freaking out. I'm like, good. You guys can. I'll take her.
Who's Jenna Ortega?
She's the Wednesday Addams girls.
Oh. Yeah. Somebody needs to do like a video where they show her doing the dance and they just CGI in a cigarette in her mouth.
It was like behind the scenes of Wednesday Addams. Like she does the dance and they're like cut. She just starts cursing and like
that.
Pulls
or
out a pack of smokes.
I also want to see somebody do a Photoshop of her doing the Ben Affleck meme of him with the cigarette.
Oh, yeah. Just like.
Did you see the Ryan Long one of that?
No.
It's like he's like Ben. It's like a day in the life of Ben Affleck. He's like life is pain, and it's him reenacting that scene where he's like, J Lo. She's the most demanding woman I've ever met, and he's just always.
It's funny.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
It is what it is. All right. We got some super chats there.
All right. I went to see, so this is from Gordon Shumway. I want to see Canadian James Bond. He can be overly polite, and every time he shoots, beats up, or has a one-night stand, he says, sorry, eh?
He just gets really mad. He beats people up, and then actually, I posted a video yesterday. There's this amazing one. It's a guy. It's a hockey player. It's called the Canadian Citizenship Test, and it's him with a hockey puck trying to deke between a bunch. And they start just throwing random stuff at him, and like eventually it's like pucks, helmets, other skates, and it's like that's how you pass your citizenship test in Canada. You just have to be competent at hockey.
You mentioned Serge earlier when you're like, Serge isn't here, but I'm going to talk about Ronald Reagan. Well, he equally has the same feelings when you talk about Canadians.
It's not very nice.
Canadians and Ronald Reagan.
I am an
Can't bring
honorary.
him up around Surge.
I am an honorary Canadian.
That's lame.
Because I'm from Minnesota. Thus I am the honorary frostback at this country this company. That's what they call them, frostbacks.
Corey Anderson says Harry Melling as 007.
Okay. I don't know who else could play James Bond. There's so many of them.
Andy Milonakis.
Brad Pitt.
Andy Serkis. We'll have Andy Serkis be very short James Bond. Actually, he could play a bad guy. Andy Serkis could play a Bond villain.
I feel like they're gonna make it Tom Holland.
No.
He's everything now.
He is. He's so like feminine. Like
he's just tiny.
Yeah.
He's just so tiny.
He's not though. He's like 5'8", 5'9", which is the average height of an American male.
Is
5'9".
he that tall?
Yeah.
I thought he was like 5'6".
Maybe he's 5'7".
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I know Zendaya is taller than him.
How tall is she?
Zendaya, she's taller. I don't know, but she's at least if she's not taller than him, she's taller than him with heels on, and that's.
I think she's taller than them both. Anyways,
Yeah.
Cowboy Tumbo Slice says Tom Hiddleston could either pull off Bond or be a Bond villain.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
I wouldn't want him as Bond, but I'm not saying that he couldn't do the role.
Nathan Cross says John Goodman plays the bad guy who's just an American fast food tycoon trying to open franchises in the UK like he did in the US.
It's so good, and he's just like, look, if you ever seen 10 Cloverfield Lane or whichever one, like John Goodman's a great actor. He's just kind of a nut job.
Or your favorite actor, the guy that's in Sons of Anarchy, the main dude. He said he's super woke. What was his name?
Ron Perlman?
Yeah.
Ugh.
He could be James Bond.
Then they'll probably give us... No, David Harbour was already in a James Bond movie, so they can't do that. So.
Or who played Saul Goodman?
He'd
He'd be a goofy James Bond.
Odenkirk?
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk.
Odenkirk?
Nobody was really good, though. He kicked ass in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen... It's kind of like a Keanu Reeves movie. He's just kicking ass the whole time.
I never saw that.
Oh, it's really good.
I've heard nothing but good things about that.
It's a good movie. I'm meaning to rewatch it.
I'm gonna make a note to watch that one. I'm gonna have to see that one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yep. Rhaegar Targaryen says Lizzo makes Honda look like Ezra Miller.
Look, is anybody here excited to see Ezra Miller as the Flash?
No.
And then one more, and then we will move on.
Ezra Miller could be James Bond.
He could be. He would literally be trans Bond. He'd be non-binary Bond.
Non-binary
so
Bond.
he could be James Bond one day.
It's just they're shaking the guy. Where is they? Where's James?
It's like whenever they say like the name's Bond, they name's Bond.
They's names.
They's name's Bond.
X says, just show us 005 or 008. 006 was a villain already.
Yeah, I would be okay with them bringing back Sean Bean as Alec Trevelyan as 006 and then just rewrite the whole story as if he didn't die at the end of GoldenEye. I'd be cool with that. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. We got a couple of fun ones at the end here. I really do want to name this segment Influencers in the Wild because we got a $20 one right there, and then we'll just hit this one.
I'll
read that one.
All right.
It says it's from Clint Torres. He says, "Howdy, brothers. Sorry I'm late, but I was cracking jokes with Chrissy Mayer. Bond is dead, and they killed him, and any kind of resurrection would be sacrilege. Whether that is true or not, I can't actually say about. I mean, I know what they're saying about the character because I did see the last Bond movie. But if you're saying that he's dead in spirit, very interesting point to be made as to whether that bringing him back creates any kind of problem in the timeline. I think that there's enough creativity within the production to be able to do it. The real question is, will they bring back Martin Campbell? Because Martin Campbell launched 2 successful James Bonds. Martin Campbell did both GoldenEye and Casino Royale, so it would be interesting to see if they bring him back to do the next one as well. We will see. So I want to do a segment called Influencers in the Wild on a more regular basis. We got a couple of stories here today. The first one is wild. It says, influencer with 1.6 million followers on TikTok loses memory following horseback riding accident, doesn't understand why strangers are sending her fan mail. That's crazy. So her name is Emmy Sparandio. It looks like it's how it's pronounced. She's 27. She's a ranching influencer. That's a thing. Like, there's an influencer for everything. You ever see those influencers where it's like hot women in the military, and it always cuts to the video where it's like, stop. Don't fall for it. Propaganda.
There's one in particular. She got all these freckles too, which are probably not even real. I know. Yeah. They've got the Ukrainian girls dancing in the full uniform getup.
We're going to be talking about that in this segment as well. It says she's a popular content creator for documenting her Western lifestyle. Was injured on May 15th after a horse she was riding fell on top of her. Oof. According to the family's GoFundMe campaign, which has raised $200,000 of a $250,000 goal. She also, because she's 27, I guess she just lost her parents' health insurance last year. So that's freaking awful. And she'd suffered a concussion and a broken finger after being thrown from a bucking horse just a month prior. So, imagine for a second you're some type of big-time influencer. And then, one day you wake up in a hospital and everybody's sending you these messages. And there's this weird kind of parasocial connection where people feel this deep sense of connection to you because of all the videos they've watched of you.
Right.
And you're just here like a blank slate and have no clue what to make of it.
I wonder if she is like a city girl who then moved to the ranch, and it's like, what if she's just like, what is my life? Like, what do you mean I'm in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
I have a cowboy hat. What are you talking about?
It says the family reported that she was stable and started to regain consciousness on the 19th. 3 days later, they've published an update basically saying that she'd started speech and physical therapy, but that she would read the letters. And so she could read all these nice things people were saying about her. And you know how those types of comments get, right? People are like, oh my gosh, my life is over. I love you so. You see people say the craziest things. The only thing crazier than people say to influencers like that are the creepy men who send the women the creepy messages that you see in the comment section.
And it was an American dude, and he's all shy, doesn't want to talk to a woman. And then it's foreign dude, and it's just the most vulgar message you possibly could think of.
It says that she had posted a TikTok the same day this had happened. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I would love to get 3. Can we get a third crisis party?
Yeah.
I wore no hat
one?
today.
I like this one's funky.
It's show me the money.
Gotta get a hat trick.
Yeah, I would like a no hat trick.
Oh,
that's like a hat trick.
Funny.
It's like our version of a hat trick. It's the no hat trick. Can we get the no hat trick today? Otherwise, I have to go back to wearing a hat every day. It says so. The accident happened the same day. Here's a video of her. I might have to mute it, but we'll see if it's.
I have been set.
This is my life as a ranch influencer.
This is my life. I wake up and I go and I get a yogurt from the. What do they always say at the tech companies? They're like, I got the yogurt in a Starbucks.
What if it's from the 1800s? It's I start my day by fending off the local Native American tribe.
Saddle shopping for weeks to no avail. So today's my last ditch effort to drive 2 hours up to Prescott. I've been told by the saddle shops around Phoenix that this is a more ranchy area, so I'd have more luck with ranch saddles here. It has been really tough to find a saddle that is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm trying to find an all-around ranch saddle that I can work in, and also a saddle that'll be good for ranch broncs. So I'd like a deep seat, a cantle that's not too high, and ideally swells. These were the only 2 semi-promising saddles, and you know what I did? I brought both of them home. I of course wanted to make sure that they fit.
They always say, and of course I had to. Of course I want to do this. That's a very common line in these.
So I want to go test them. Then I stopped in Wickenburg to get some leather-soled boots. I also got this cute little saddle blanket. Then I stopped at NRS.
Probably spent $1,000 so far in just the boots and saddles.
Yeah, but it's all business expenses,
My hat.
Write that off on
their saddle section too. After a McDonald's Diet Coke, I went home to test the saddles out. It's always best to check saddle fit without a saddle pad. So I tested both saddles on Goose and.
I was thinking she went through the McDonald's on the horse. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Hard to fit anyway, since he's so much smaller than them. Then I did a quick little ride in them. I was not crazy about this saddle. I just felt like I could not find my seat in it. This
anticipation is killing me.
One thing I love about the internet is that you really can find your community anywhere. Call that a little sappy, but she's got a lot of followers.
I just don't know how people feel fulfilled about it. I can't live vicariously like that.
No, not. I'm saying, but for the people that do, I can be happy for them.
I understand it. I just don't
know
how it's fulfilling. Anyway, Yes, this ranch life stuff is not cheap.
Yep. Bunny Ayala says her passion for ranching is legit. Yep.
Wait, so she forgets?
She got injured and now she has no memory of
what happened. Like, how'd she get injured?
She got. She was a horse fell on top of her.
Wait, is it because these trash saddles she just bought?
That's what I was saying.
Dude, I hope not. Like let's hope that that's not what it was.
Sue the
But
saddle store.
that's crazy. Like it says, yeah.
Is it permanent?
I mean, I'm guessing with something like this, hopefully her memory comes back over time.
Right.
You know, like that's
Her
because
fans
I like
get
imagine
pretty
that
angry.
happened to you. Like this happens to you, and then the next day you're getting messages from people who
Yeah.
are like, Carter, you've got
Timcast
work.
music. What is that?
Yeah, and they're like, what the hell is Timcast music? And
I wonder if I'd be better at checking messages if I forgot who I was.
You'd probably get overwhelmed. I already get overwhelmed.
No, it's me too. That's why I don't
I can read
check
like
them a lot.
3, and then I'm like, I'm tired of this.
I let them just gather in my inbox until I get really stressed out.
Sarenko Production says the Gen Z voiceover drives me crazy.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is my day, and of course I had to get 2 of the saddles.
She Andrina says, did she just specify a Diet Coke? Well, she would never admit to having a regular Coke. That would be blasphemy.
Or as we were joking about before the show, maybe she ordered a Coca-Cola.
That's very possible. You know, those
You were joking about this. I said
those
no.
Gen Z ranchers are probably probably pretty woke.
She's like, I went to the store on my horse to go get diapers for the next Taylor Swift concert.
Right.
It's just
Hey, that actually checks out with the amnesia thing.
Oh yeah, maybe there was no horse ever. She just went to a Taylor Swift concert.
that's exactly what it was. It's just
That
crazy.
sucks though. That is crazy.
But also, did you see this one? This one's even scarier if you really think about it. This is for a Ukrainian influencer revealed the location of a field hospital that led to a Russian airstrike.
Oh, God.
Heard about this happening a few times.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, I mean,
So,
it says a Ukrainian influencer has been criticized for revealing the location of a field hospital treating injured troops just hours before it was hit with a lethal Russian airstrike. Like, is it fair to say that maybe that's how it was revealed, or would Russia just know the address, know the location
Right.
of critical targets?
Well, okay, so I have a couple things to say. One, it's such an issue because I don't know if you've ever seen that guy Rainbolt online. He's one of those GeoGuessr savants where he can look at an image of like a landscape for like a second. And he'll be able to tell you what country it's from, what region. Like he gets very, very close, and it's anywhere in the world. He's just like can identify that stuff. So I'm sure people in the military have that role, or even AI can probably tell you.
well,
But
I mean, you
there's,
got
like,
the whole sleuthing community online.
there was
Found that
exactly.
guy that messed with the cats.
Well,
Or
this
the
is-
what was it? The flag, do you remember when Reddit or 4chan found the
Oh,
location
yeah.
of the.
Yeah.
Oh, was it that
Who
weird?
sent me
The
that?
weird
The
alien
documentary.
thing. The weird
No,
alien
it was
obelisk.
somebody Shia LaBeouf's live stream.
Yeah, and a bunch of people on
Yeah.
4chan found it in like
Right.
less than a day or something like that.
Crazy. Well, there was also like 5 or 6 influencers that were just arrested like 2 or 3 weeks ago because they recorded a video of the Ukrainian the Patriot missile systems, which are like defense missiles, shooting down incoming Russian missiles, and just showing the video of where they're like coming up from the horizon. They like expose the locations of the defense batteries.
Yeah.
And so they all got arrested.
Does attacking a field hospital make it something different? Like, does that people are saying that makes it a war crime? Does that make it a war crime?
I mean, yes,
gotta
you're not supposed to
say,
attack
yeah.
civilians,
Yeah.
especially if there's no like.
Yep.
I mean, it depends. Like, if Russia claims that this was like a military hospital, that it used to be a civilian hospital, now it's all military.
Wasn't that what they're saying?
Probably.
Well, you
But
said
it's like Ukrainians attacking. Like, I don't know.
So her name's Anna. She has 600,000 followers on Instagram and posted an appeal for
They're
aid for
all
the
Russian
clinic
spies.
in eastern Ukraine.
Dude.
Saying the injured Ukrainian troops were there. But hours after her post on Thursday, a Russian missile strike targeted the hospital, the field hospital, killing 4 people and wounding 30 others, including 2 boys aged 3 and 6. The attack, which left the building a pile of rubble, of burning rubble, was condemned by Zelensky. In her post, the lady said hospital numbers 6 and 9 were treating a large number of military personnel.
There you go.
So she gave it away.
why would she do that?
I don't know.
And even if there's
That
one
seems
there,
intentional.
that's all Russia needs to be like, okay, it's a target now. Even if there's just
what
one.
was she thinking?
This is why you don't bring influencers in to.
Well, you know who my favorite? He's not an influencer yet, but apparently there's this whale that's actually is thought to be a Russian spy. It's like a beluga whale. I tweeted about it yesterday.
The beluga spy.
Yeah, and
Damn.
I'm like, I hope
He'll be an influencer.
I hope he's an influencer.
He'll be an influencer
the whale spy.
Whales are cool.
She reportedly deleted her post, which contained information deemed sensitive about the Ukrainian military and hospitals. So that's crazy. I can't believe that we live in a world now where like people are doing sensitive military operations and then they have to worry about somebody
that's what's so
sitting there like this with their phone.
So weird about this war. And I think a lot of people like kind of like their first instinct is, okay, there's something like a conspiracy going on. And I'm just like, yo, this is like modern day war. This is what it's going to look like. You're going to have people out and about with their cell phones still living a life while 2 miles away, 3 miles away, there's people shooting at each other and sending missiles at each other. So it's like we got to figure out a way to navigate this as a society, because in World War II, no one had cell phones. You can't document it. Maybe you had a camera if you were rich from before the war, but now everyone, no matter how, like even homeless people here have cell phones and Wi-Fi and stuff. So it's like Ukraine has that infrastructure in place well before the war. Everyone had cell phones, everyone had social media profiles. So it's like we're going to have to find a way to navigate these kind of issues, especially if we're trying to like keep secrets, from whoever the enemy is. So I don't even know. Would you arrest this person if you were...
I don't know.
I mean, what do? Do you like cut off their internet access specifically?
The lady? I don't know. Like you just stop.
Because it's gonna happen again. Before,
it like it's like? Do you say like big whoopsie? Like that's insane. Like who knows? I don't know.
But it's like also it's like
they're in a time of war, man.
Yeah, that's
anything
what I'm saying.
that needs to happen to stop that from happening,
well, I'm just thinking of it here. Think about all of Gen Z, what they go on with, and God forbid there was a war on American soil. But just imagine them like they're going to be doing the TikTok dances while there's like tanks rolling in behind them, like Myanmar. Remember that video?
There's all the video. There's this great meme where it's a guy's like looking for it's like I'm dying and I'm looking for my nurse, and he looks out the window and it's like a nurse at a dance battle.
I feel like there's a difference between you going to the hospital and reporting on it, being like, there's people in there, here's the address, or if the tanks are just rolling by where you're doing a TikTok dance,
Well, I think in her case, she was probably like, this is what life is like in Ukraine during the war. Oh, this is my neighborhood. We have a hospital here. They're currently treating some of the fighters. That's probably the tone of the video. I haven't seen it, but like,
I haven't seen it either.
That's pretty much what all those videos are like, when an influencer goes on a tour like that. So,
well,
I don't know. Like,
what are you giving tours for during a war?
Because people are watching it. They want to know what war is like to live.
Yeah, there's always been, unfortunately, fascination with that.
Yeah, they want us to like think about this. Like, how popular Anne Frank's diary was. Well, now we're living through that. Like, so
you're picturing
because of
Anne
social
Frank
media
inside of the attic with a cell phone, being like,
someday we'll have Anne Frank's Instagram story, and it will be
right. Yeah, so like this is kind of like the modern equivalent of that. Instead of little girls writing journal entries, you've got them picking up their cell. Now she's not a little girl, but you have young people picking up cell phones and just recording it all and trying to be an influencer and talking about it.
I heard somewhere that there was going to be a civil war here, so if that happens...
Who said that?
Somebody said that. Also, Pokimane says that she feels guilty about being an influencer sometimes.
Good.
She should.
Pokimane's evil.
What?
She is,
nothing
dude.
about.
She says, every now and then I become really reflective and low-key feel guilty being a content creator profiting from social media because it's so addicting and can be so harmful, especially to young minds. I especially find myself feeling this way when I realize how much social media impacts my personality, life, opinions, and desires. I cope by trying to be a positive influence on others, or hope that I can also use social media as a tool to encourage people to take care of themselves and spend time outdoors, create healthy boundaries with all the apps that we use. Friendly reminder that the digital space is just that, a virtual made-up fake. Don't lose yourself and don't compare yourself to it.
Yeah, Pokimane's evil.
That's just the blanket statement here.
Well, dude, she is the definition of rules for thee and not for me. You know how many people she's gotten banned on Twitch? Yeah. She's like their little princess, the little Twitch princess. She does everything they want them to. But yeah,
Also, it's one of those things where for somebody like that, it's like they probably have periods where they feel bad about it and then periods where they don't. And then depending on the day, it's a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde. One day she's getting you banned. The next day she's saying, oh, we should all just get along.
Yeah. I forget her. She's had some controversy too throughout the years.
I mean, I'm okay with people being with doing a little bit of self-reflection. I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me.
Well, remember when do you know Amaranth? Are you familiar with that name? Well, she's a big OnlyFans star now, but even recently, I think we might have talked about it on the show.
She's still a big Twitch star.
I think we talked about it on the show, how she had the whole domestic violence thing going on.
Yeah.
And when she was
the phone call that was
it.
the phone call that was on air while she was doing it.
Yeah, bizarre. And what came of that? Nothing. So it's hard to tell if this is an
all
act
of it feels fake now. Everything on social media feels staged.
Right.
Imagine.
Well, there's a stereotypical formula you need to follow. It's the classic YouTube apology and response video. Yeah. It's there's a formula you have to follow that I don't know how it came about.
Also, what if these influencers start fake screwing up to give Russia false. Now I'm thinking about how everything feels fake. Imagine the next time the same influencer's I'm outside of this hospital, and it's actually she's not there, and she's actually giving false information to the bad guys. It's all a stage. It's all one big show for all the world to see.
People think that's what China's doing. They're just they're using AI and they're recording inside of all of our homes, all of our streets through the lens of TikTokers.
The world is a weird place.
Yeah.
The most recent thing I saw of Pokimane is she had these jeans or something that she was wearing,
okay.
Right? And so this woman was all mad because she bought the jeans, and she's like, I don't understand how they look good on her, but just makes me look like I peed myself. It's right on the butt. It was a darker shade, and that was the pattern.
She might have edited the photos.
Yeah.
All right.
But...
All right, guys. We got some super chats there before we finish.
All right. Let's see here. I think we left off with Mr. X. Remember when McDonald's had those share boxes, 2 Big Macs, 40 nuggets, and 4 fries in them? That's the Lizzo meal.
Let's go! I'm hungry now. Now I need to go get something to eat.
Taco Thursday. Yep. Derek Nall says Tom Hardy is Bond.
I think people would say that he's too short. I think is he under 5'10"? I think he's under 5'10". He might be 5'9".
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I just don't think he has the look for James Bond.
He's too scruffy.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, I'm gonna end the poll here. I asked everybody. I said, is Idris Elba too old to play James Bond? And a nail biter here. 50% say yes. 49% say no.
Wow.
Wait, how does that work?
I don't know.
Where the hell is the 1%?
No, yeah. What?
5-0 Charlie says, who's worse?
No. I need answers. I want a recount, and I want there better not have been any 3 a.m. ballots coming in.
What the hell? 49. That's not 100.
What? Who the hell counted these votes? Was this done in Maricopa County? I want to know. That's not right. Is there? I didn't give a third option. Am I not allowed to say that?
Right. Well, then no. That has a chance to catch up.
Maricopa County. I don't know. That's probably fine.
Is that banned?
No, you can say that.
No, you just can't say the T word is the really bad one.
It was stolen.
Okay,
my poll.
Idris Elba, my Idris Elba poll.
You can't say the poll was stolen.
There was poll interference.
Listen, Carter and I, we've heard from the experts, and we can assure you that it was a free and fair poll.
It was not a free and fair.
I actually wrote an article about
there
how
is
they
some
fortified
ballot
the poll.
harvesting going on.
The poll was fortified.
It's fortified, so there wouldn't be any cheating.
This is some bullshit right here, guys. I need a recount, and I'm not conceding anything until I get that. Where's Carrie Lake? I need her help out here.
Paper ballots for this.
That's what I'm telling you.
Maybe Carrie Lake will come on next time you guys... Next time she's in town. She does love us out here in the mountains.
Dude, I tell you what, I immediately had a weird reaction to her. I'll tell you why.
I know this.
Okay, yeah. So when she came here, when Carrie Lake came here the first time, we were downstairs. We were in the green room. We were in the kitchen. She gets done with the show, right? and she had a great show. It was so long ago, I don't even remember like what they talked about on that episode. But she comes downstairs, and we're all just sitting there talking, and she kind of just joins the conversation. And within 3 minutes, I felt like she had just invited me into her kitchen, and I was being warmly welcomed into someone else's house because she's so good at talking to people, which means I immediately don't trust her because you're a politician, and I don't trust anybody with that power.
Brett's in love.
No, it's not. It wasn't Laura Boebert, so technically.
I was gonna say,
you know, where like maybe Lauren Boebert was the 1% of votes.
I had I wouldn't say a similar feeling, but no, I can't say. I've never felt this way.
Dead Man says it was 50.5 to 49.5. But wouldn't that still be a tie?
No. No. Because 0.5 rounds up both times.
But it's like, so I guess the 1% is there, but it just doesn't do points here.
Percentages,
so,
yeah.
Well, that's a big problem.
This election was this poll was too close to call, and frankly, I think there's been some shenanigans.
Oh, well, I think he's too old.
You got some smoke coming your way, Brett.
Why?
Juan Tarafa says, Brett, you can't rate a movie 7 out of 10 to call it average. Anything above 5 out of 10 is above average.
What?
Get your movie ratings right, Jack.
Still failing though.
Jack.
Okay, what is 70% in school?
A C.
What is a C?
It's barely passing.
What is a C? You tell me.
Is it so? So it's just is my opinion of average. So B's average, A's really good, C's bad, D's awful.
But
well,
we're not.
D is failing.
Yeah.
C is passing.
F is failing. I thought F was failing.
Yeah, well, F is for every letter below they stop counting.
Yeah. 7 out of 10. Like, look, I see, like, I give a lot of things that score, right? Like, I let a lot of things.
Yeah,
because
it's a cop-out score.
It is, in a way. For me, like, I don't know what to say. Like, I tend to judge movies very, very weirdly. But that's
like you're giving it the benefit of the doubt, but you don't want to be negative, so you're like, I'll give it a 7.
Maybe in a way, but I also like the way that the best rating you can give something now is whether you'd watch it again or not.
Would you watch it again?
Most of the things we watch, no. Like very few things that we've reviewed, I've watched back.
That's kind of unfair because some movies are just like that, where the thrill of it is like the plot being revealed as you go, and so once you finish the movie,
like what Shyamalan movies?
Sure.
Like okay, but like I guess like True Detective season 1. Like once you get the reveal, it doesn't really matter.
Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock 2,
I'll rewatch it.
But that's not even fair because I've rewatched True Detective season 1. It just wasn't quite the same as it was the first time, but it's still really great television.
I'll rewatch House MD a lot.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Unusable.
Holy verse in the chat. That's I don't know, but that's very crude to say in the chat. I'm not repeating that.
Well, Unusable Alpaca says, I think y'all missed my $20 super chat and how studios versus theaters get paid. The alpaca will be unusable for the rest of the day. Good going, Brett.
We did go back and address it, my friend. I do apologize again for not reading that.
Corey Anderson
earlier.
says, how does a goofy looking dude like Wesley pull a hottie like Taylor?
Maybe he could do a video where he talks about his dating, like his game techniques.
They talked about last night on Timcast how you can't just be funny, and I disagree. I think a lot of times people get the girl exactly.
But he's rich too, so that doesn't count.
Is he though?
Who are we talking about?
Yes, Pete Davidson.
This guy's talking smack about our coworkers, but
Wesley's not goofy looking.
No, and if you've watched him like work behind the scenes on Cast Castle, you realize like that like. Dude, it's funny, and a lot of the funny stuff that I think is the funniest doesn't always make it into the episode. It's fun just being in like that creative process. Clint Torres.
We already read that one.
Okay, God. From Grega with love. The Bond movies. Opening credits say the lead actor is Ian Fleming's James Bond. Fleming's Bond is specifically white, and that's how he should stay.
Okay, that's my opinion, my guess. Not about whether he should be Bond, but whether he will be, is that I still think it'll be Regé Jean Page, but it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being true or not. So.
And then lastly, we've got Nathan Cross with $5. It says both sides of UAVs and satellite imagery. These militaries aren't relying on TikTok videos for intel. That's what you think, bud.
I mean,
Actually, they definitely are.
Because yeah,
it would be stupid to discount that extra intelligence.
but don't we know in every conflict, once you get into like the neighborhoods and cities, like the people that live
Human
there
intel,
have the advantage. You know, it's like in a satellite, you're not going to understand how it really is on the ground. You're going to use
there's
cell
always
phone
been
data.
innovative ways of getting information. This is just the most recent
and if they
form
had
of that.
satellites and UAVs, I mean, I guess the balloon thing was a UAV, but it's like, why are they launching surveillance balloons if they've got satellites that can just see every part of the country?
Well, because the surveillance balloon was so we didn't know that they had a satellite.
Keenan Smith says, does Brett know that Lauren Boebert filed for divorce? Yes, my friend, because I got tagged by about 50,
He doesn't know that.
50 people telling me that, and I felt just a tad ghoulish responding to such thing. I responded to one where I posted a meme that says like it's my time to shine, and I decided
sent her a DM on your behalf.
And I decided not to post it because I felt like it's kind of ghoulish to celebrate a woman, going through divorce, especially a woman with, a family.
Deuce Boogaloo says, forget Wesley and Taylor. Have you seen Destiny's Wife? She was with him on that whatever episode. How the F did he pull that?
He's rich, right? He's
very wealthy, but he didn't used to be like he was. That's the whole thing with Destiny, and why a lot of people around here like him is that yes, he's a liberal, but he used to be very middle of the road. Like he's pretty based in a lot of areas, and then just recently in the last few years he's like dyed his hair.
Didn't she need a green card or something? I heard that somewhere.
What?
Destiny's Wife.
Did he say that?
I thought
maybe it was a joke.
joke.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen what she looks like.
And she likes him because he lets her sleep with other dudes.
I
wait,
did see that clip. So that was his girlfriend dancing while he was streaming.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
All right. Is that everything? Has everybody given thought to the fact that Destiny's now been in a fight, fought with Mary for a week on Twitter?
It's so great. Corey Anderson says, I'm not talking smack. I like Wesley. I was just joking about how Brett was putting himself down.
Yeah, Brett was putting himself down earlier, and I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to give him the compliments he was fishing for.
I don't
Tell him
want
after the show.
Self-deprecating humor is just part of life. All right, guys, before we go, we got one more there.
High Voltage says, I sent a super chat earlier, but I think you guys missed it. I blame Kellen. No worries. Good show today.
Wait,
Did he?
What was what? Did we really miss?
There was one I skipped from James Orenthal.
If you could just re-super chat that real quick.
Hold on. No,
kidding.
I want to find
Obviously.
it. What was it? It was from who? That was from High Voltage 75.
It didn't show up on my list.
High Voltage 75.
What if you normal chatted the super chat that you were saying was super?
Oh, okay. Here, yeah, okay. High Voltage 75 says the Walk of Fame of future will be YouTubers, influencers, and e-thoughts. I like the idea that they all get their own wing.
Yeah.
There's just there's an e-thought wing full of where it's there's a set behind it where you can do hot tub streams.
Oh my god.
And the YouTuber one's a big green screen background where you can rant about politics.
OnlyFan Girl of the Year is.
And the YouTubers will be it'll be great. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, so looking forward to it.
And then there's one more from Waffle Sensei.
Waffle Sensei. Destiny didn't pull that girl. She just uses his money and bangs who she actually wants.
Oh, man.
It's an open relationship, man.
Is that what it is? All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please? I saw the numbers earlier, and I would like more of you to hit the like button, please. That would make me very happy. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Share this video with your friends. Carter, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on social media places like YouTube at Carter Banks and Twitter at Carter Banks. Mainly, I'm trying to do YouTube stuff eventually, so I would go there.
Perfect. All right, Kellen, where can they find you?
Just follow me at KellenPDL basically everywhere, and I'll choose whether or not to accept you as a follower. Thank you.
All right, guys, if you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to listen rather than watch this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.